Bang.
Just like that. Oh, fuck. Here we go. We're back at it. Cheers, dude.
Cheers, buddy.
Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, so to start it off, I got to eat 5 freaking hot dogs. A little barbecue sauce. This is going to be disgusting. I guess I got to record this too, don't I?
Yeah, that you do.
Oh.
Just remember, dude.
Yeah, we're doing this.
You
Suck
drove,
me, Joey.
You drove this home.
I know. 26-30.
Sitting there in the group, reading your text, talking about doing it. And I'm like, dude, you're 1-7 and your team is trash.
Yeah, dude. And I'm pretty sure it was going up. I think it was the week that me and Evan were playing each other when we were both 0-7. And then fucking Henry got hurt. I was livid.
He actually had a few decent people on his team, though. Your team was pretty...
Dude, my team was bunk.
Team was pretty barren.
My team was so bunk. I got to do this story, too. I can't believe we're doing this all on the podcast. Whatever. This is it, people. This is all it is. Story. Doing a podcast. My buddy Spence.
Eating some dogs.
Yeah. Lizzing down. I hate this, dude.
Dude, I was saying that the other day. Joey was getting on you about eating anything but a hot dog, and I was like, dude, I don't think most of the people in the group would even have. I wouldn't have, like myself included, would not have been able to do that.
Dude, the looks I was getting at the grocery store buying all this stuff, and like I was just hoping no one would see it or say anything, and then I was at Schnucks buying it all, and the lady behind me just tapped me on the shoulder. She's like, "So what's all that for?" And I was just like, a hot dog eating competition.
Not having a barbecue.
Yeah, snow day barbecue. Mid-pod glizzies.
Dude, you would have probably really messed that lady up if you'd have been like, yeah, I'm going to eat all of these in a week.
Because literally the only thing in my cart was close to 100 hot dogs, like 70 buns, jalapenos, some onions, and like a thing of cheese, and some beer. And she was like, what the fuck?
I respect, there's a lot of people in there definitely thought about asking.
For sure. Because everyone saw me.
Yeah, the guy who went to the hot dog aisle and just shoveled hot dogs into his car.
Dude, the most awkward shit was the other day when I went to buy laxatives. And I didn't know what I was buying. I've never taken any, bought any. And the conversation I had with the pharmacist, she was just laughing her ass off behind her mask.
Did you tell her?
She was like, has your diet changed? And I was like, not to get into it, but yeah, pretty drastically. And then there's only one other dude in the line behind me, in the pharmacy line. I don't know, he was probably in his 70s or something like that. And he heard the conversation, and then he came into the laxative aisle to like buy himself stuff, and he probably had a 2-3 minute conversation with me, just giving me all this advice on laxatives from Whole Foods. He was like, it works like a charm, buddy. Try it out. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm never doing this again.
Like, I'm in my 70s. I've been using laxatives for years.
It was crazy. He was like, doesn't taste like anything. Mix it in and do it every day. Works like a charm. I was like, dude, who are you? Why? It was so embarrassing. I guess it wasn't embarrassing, but...
Dude, he probably just goes in there. He wants to talk about it. Mm-hmm. He's like just hanging around.
Yeah, dude, he heard me having that conversation. He was pumped to talk. Yes. I can't believe I have to eat all these right now. Whatever. But, yeah. So some shit I want to talk about. Obviously, we're going to get into sports.
Figured.
But I guess we can just go ahead and start. You moved to Omaha. When?
Let's see. That was...
Because you just moved back, like, what, a month ago?
Yeah, I was basically there a year. I'm pretty sure it was, like, December. I was going up there in November of 21, but I moved in, like, December 15th or something.
And it was for your job, right?
Yeah.
Reynolds?
Yep.
And you didn't know anyone there?
No one. I actually found out after the fact. You know Austin Poncho?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize. I played basketball then when I was a kid. I didn't realize until, like, 3 or 4 months before I left. He was playing on the Omaha. Yeah, I didn't even realize. I saw, like, a Instagram post. But other than that, I knew the one guy up there. We had another guy in my company that worked up there. But
did you accept a job? And then they were just like, we're going to place you somewhere? Or did you accept it knowing you're going to Omaha?
When I took the training, like I was here training for like 9 months or whatever. When I took that in the contract that I signed, which technically it wasn't like a binding thing, but they was like, Chicago, St. Louis, Omaha, you have to be willing to relocate to any of these places. Essentially, the training thing is you're like on the bench. So if somebody gets fired, somebody quits, somebody takes a promotion, you're like being groomed so that they have somebody in place to take over.
And that's what happened in Omaha?
Yeah, the guy before me, pretty much. I think he had some tough family issues, but he was like in his 40s, 50s, had been like a manager before and had like something happened to one of his, I don't know exactly what happened. We really didn't, I never met him. He just like basically stopped doing his job for like 4 or 5 months and was like at him and our manager never got along, and then I think he got fired, or he kind of was going to get fired and quit, but he just wasn't doing his job for a while. So then they were like, hey, it's time. It was really abrupt because he just all of a sudden was done.
Yeah, they're like, you got to.
They're like, hey, we need you to go. I could have said no. Like technically, there was like my boss was like, you can kind of say no once, but it's not a good look. And I've been training for like 9 months. You say no, it's kind of like, okay, it might be time for you to get moved out of here, and it's like it's a better look to just say yeah and go do your time.
Did they give you a timeline when you could potentially move back? Because obviously they knew you're from St. Louis.
There was no like definitive time. Like I think my boss that's my boss now was probably thinking and hoping that I would just move up there and like it and stay. So they, like ideally, right, they have somebody that would stay and just hold it. But I was thinking like 2-3 years tops.
Yeah, I mean you gotta have to go with that kind of mentality. That's how Britt is up in Quincy. Like, they're like, you can get out of here at some point, but, like, we can't give you a timeline. So, like, every time someone asks you, it's just like, yeah, probably, like, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Well, my thing was...
And then best case scenario, you get to move home early.
Yeah. Well, my thing was, too, when I took this whole job, like, I don't mind my job. I don't mind the car industry and stuff, but it wasn't like when I came out of college, I was like, I want to go do that. This was just, like, really good. I was like, I think I could be good in sales, and my dad thought so, too. So I got the job offer, and I was like, I'll just use this as, like, good. I was like, I tried to get some other like higher level sales jobs, and the only thing holding me back was I have like 6 months of selling insurance at State Farm.
Sure, yeah.
So it was like this was a good bridge. So it was like, oh, if I go up there and do 2 years and I'm out, I'll have enough good experience to be able to go use it to leverage another job. Wasn't going to tell my boss that, but like that was my plan.
Well, I mean, anyone who's looking for a job, like everyone thinks that first job they get, like, oh, this is it. It's like, no.
Awesome if
your first job is you're probably want to get out.
Awesome if that happens for you, but honestly, like between 20 and 30, 35, most people are going to have, you should be leaping around because it's the best way to get competitive pay.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's how you get most of your pay raises.
Or you at least go get an offer and then you go back, if you want to keep your job, you go, hey, I can go over here and do this, and then you either try to get a raise, or if they say no, you just leave.
Yeah. Was that hard, moving to Omaha, not knowing anybody?
It was definitely not ideal, and the first 3-4 months not bad because
COVID,
so it was like, well, I wasn't going to do anything anyway, which sucked though because like there was no way to go out do anything, but I was so engrossed in getting caught up on my job because the guy before me had done basically dick all in the territory. Like there were so many of these accounts
for like the past 4 or 5 months,
so many of these accounts that I went into that he like they didn't even know we had rep. They were like, oh, you guys have, and I was like, yeah, was he not come? They're like, no, we've never heard of this guy, or like, oh, he'd come by like sparingly or whatever. They're like, we didn't really know that you had people come. So I was going around just trying to rehab
makes sense
the territory essentially. But then as it went on, I'd be up there and I was like, yeah, this just like I didn't make a huge effort to make a ton of friends up there. It was kind of tough with COVID, and I wasn't ever planning on like
staying there,
rooting up there anyway.
How big's Omaha? A few 100,000. Is it even 1 million?
No, probably the whole greater
metro area.
Yeah, let's see what the population is. But I've had so many people ask me that, and I was like, honestly, I don't even know. One part of it was too, dude. I was in Iowa a week and a half every month anyway.
Oh yeah, you were driving.
Because I was covering border to border in Iowa. Like I was going out to Dubuque, which is on the border of Iowa in Illinois.
Yeah.
So like half the time I'd be out there anyway in a hotel. Or I'd come back on Friday, and I'd have driven, like, 12 hours that week or whatever it was, and I was like, I don't want to do anything. Like,
I can't say I've ever spent time in Iowa or Nebraska.
I had never been to Nebraska. I think I'd been to Iowa one time. My little brother played
Holy shit, that's across the entire state.
Yeah. No, it's the whole, so I would start, which at least Omaha's, like, right on the edge. But
that's when you would go to Chicago?
Yeah, I did that. I started doing that a few times, but then I had to start planning. So what I would do was I would go to Dubuque and plan my schedule where I'd end in Dubuque, and then the next week I would start back in like Iowa City or something because I drove
That's probably what, a 10-hour drive to Chicago?
It's like 8.5 or something. I did it one time.
I was gonna
and
say.
I mean, you know, I wasn't going to Chicago to like sightsee.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it wasn't like I was like going there
fellas are in
to
town.
go on rehab. So I was driving back, dude, and I was like in the car, and I was like probably 2.5, 3 hours from home, and I was like, I can never do this drive again. I won't make it. I was like smacking myself awake because the way I'll do it too. I'll just get in the car like. When you got a haul, we used to drive. My dad used to drive us everywhere for vacation. Like we drive to Florida and stuff.
Same.
We have 5 people. It's like It's not. You can do a lot more on vacation if you don't buy plane tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So I was used to it, and I had learned. Yeah, and it's a company car too, so that wasn't my
Lizzie's down.
My money.
10 minutes in.
So I'll just get in the car and I'll just hoof it until I have to get gas. Like I'm pretty good about just blinders up, just throw the podcast on, throw music on, whatever. But
just rip it.
I was driving, dude. It got nighttime there, and I was like, dude, this is borderline dangerous.
That's awful. When we drove to Colorado, Breck, I think. I don't remember, Cop or whatever. It was like driving through Kansas. We were like, this is easy. And then like 10 o'clock p.m. and we were like, fuck this shit. Because Iowa's like the same as Kansas. There's nothing.
No, dude, it's literally I-80. If you want to go anywhere, you have to go down. So if you want to go here, you go up. And then if you want to go back out, you got to go back down to I-80 and over. Sometimes you go, but like all the other roads are like 2-lane freeways.
Oh, God. So you're dealing with that the whole time. Mm-hmm. Are you doing that now? Are you covering like a huge area of St. Louis?
Not really. So,
I'm sure there's like a lot more people
here. An hour. Yeah. Well, and there's a lot more business. Like that was the other thing too. A lot of these accounts I go to in Iowa, it's like you go up into Ames. There's not enough business for these places to be spending a ton of money.
Makes sense.
But like I go
just pure population sense.
I think as far out I go west here is Warrenton, Troy area.
Oh, that's not bad.
And then I actually have accounts in Quincy.
Nice.
Accounts in Quincy, and then I do the third week of every month. I go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in Springfield, and I do Springfield, Illinois, Lincoln, Champaign, Urbana, and Bloomington Normal.
What was the first one you said?
Springfield. That's where I like.
That's like
stay.
2 hours away, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit less than 2.
That's nothing compared to what you were doing.
No, yeah. I was doing 3.5, 4,000 miles a month.
Holy shit! Company car though.
Yeah, company car. Well, and some of that would be like I drive Chicago or I drive home.
Right.
But it was the driving was in. My boss was like, we really need to get you like less driving. I was like, well, dude, there's no way around. Like if I want to cover this area, I have to be driving that.
Unless you're buying me plane tickets.
Yeah, I was like half the time I'm working, I'm driving, dude. There's no way around it. Like
especially if you're going across the state.
Yeah, well, dude, that's a
wide ass territory.
I'd like start here, Des Moines, and then Ames is like 35 minutes north. I had shit down south too. On some of these accounts, like after like 4 or 5 months, I was like, I'm not going down. Like
it'd be like 2 dealerships.
Yeah, and they weren't buying anything for like it was like if there was business in there that I could grow, I was like, I'm not going down there to start new business. It's like a whole day to go down there and come back, and I'm getting nothing for it. Like, but then I'd go out to Iowa City, and then Iowa City, Davenport, Dubuque, and Cedar Rapids.
Cedar Rapids, just chilling in Cedar Rapids.
Just chilling. Dude, they also, if you ever go to Cedar Rapids, anybody, they have speed cameras out there, and they ticket the shit out of people. My boss
assholes.
My boss caught a ticket up there the first time we were up there. He's like, why didn't you tell? He's like, borderline getting mad at me. I was like, dude, I told you, I've never been here. Like, I didn't know. And I was like, also, I saw the signs, and I slowed down. I don't know what you were doing. I was like, he'd be asking me the first time we were out there, like Omaha, and I was like, okay, I'm following you for directions. I was like, dude, I'm putting this stuff in my phone. I've never.
Yeah, why would you expect me?
Like
Cedar Rapids. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah,
With Ed Helms.
Yeah,
corny ass movie. Every time I hear Cedar Rapids, that's what I think of.
I think
that's just what I associate with that city now.
That and the Hillary video.
Yeah,
just chilling. Yeah. And honestly, dude, you bet it's
4,000 miles. That's insane. That's so much driving.
Yeah.
For reference, like for anyone listening, like the average person puts like 12 to 15,000.
10 to 15.
Yeah, 1,000 miles a year. So what's that? 1,000 miles a month,
roughly.
So you're doing 50,000 miles a year.
I put I've got that. I'm almost at 60,000 now, and I've had it since like March of 2020. But then a lot of that to like the first year I had it, I would drive the guy that I train with around, but we never drove my car. So most of that 60 is in the last like year and a half.
Do you even have your old car?
My little brother has it.
Oh, word.
Which sucks too. Is I love that. I had that little Buick. It was sweet.
Mm-hmm. What do you have now? Impala?
It's a Chevy Malibu.
Malibu. That's right. Those are nice. I like those.
It's solid. It's like the limited. I think it's like second from the top. Yeah. Like as far as it's got Apple CarPlay and stuff. The only thing that sucks, it's got a 4-cylinder engine, and that thing's way too big and heavy for a 4-cylinder. But
is it all-wheel drive? Front-wheel drive, probably.
I think it's front. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look into it too much, but I drive the shit out of that thing. I don't like. It's not mine.
How's that work? Every like 60,000 miles, you get a new car or something?
You're supposed to. It's supposed to be around 60, but with the way the whole the whole used car, like our one guy in Kansas City, he's almost up to like 100,000 miles, and he's still waiting on his car. Yeah.
So they probably give you almost new cars.
Yeah. Oh, the car I got had like 400 miles on it. And the only miles came from the guy driving it down from wherever it came from.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Company cars are sweet. Dude, don't you get to like pick from like a certain like 5 cars or some shit?
When I got mine, it was like, we need to get you a car. Here are the 2 cars that are like we can get to you quickly, so pick. Mm-hmm. And it's like it comes on a draw, so it's like every paycheck, so bi-monthly.
But it's just like a lesser
draw.
Car
it's
payment.
Like so it's literally
or discounted car payment.
You normally get a list of like 8 to 10 cars, and there's some of them sometimes pretty good ones, but you pay more based on how nice the car is. But mine's like $240 a month, and that includes anything insurance. That one time my neighbor put a baseball clean through the back windshield of my car. I called up the fleet company the next day. They sent out the Safe Light guy. He just put the new windshield on and just $0. You go and you have a maintenance schedule. You just take it in, hand them the ticket. They do it.
That's huge.
Gas, free, car wash. You can wash your car like 2-3 times a month.
Damn. That's a huge perk.
It's huge to not have to like, that is just off your, like as far as worrying about the car, there's nothing, I don't worry about that. It's just done. Like
that's what I'm stressed about right now. My car's not high mileage, but it's got like 70,000 miles. But I'm out of my warranty now. Yeah. And it's like anything that comes up.
So you got people saying, hey, you're extended. Do people call you about your car extended warranty?
All the time.
Yeah.
But like, that's just like something I'm worried about now is because like at 60,000, like 59,950 miles, I could have got a new transmission. But like now, if I have a blown transmission, I got to fork up like $4K.
Yeah, you basically almost have to probably end up getting a new car.
Yeah, and fuck that shit. Fuck that shit.
That's it's a car payment, but I know it comes out of my check, and that's like no insurance. Like insurance at our age alone, like if you're on your own, can be kind of expensive.
So that could be another $200 a month for some people.
Yeah, but the other side of that is if I get a couple like high speeding tickets and don't get them fixed up or something, like I just lose my job for that because the fleet company will bounce you, and if they bounce you, the company will bounce you, or like
oh damn.
Or like if you have
it's like a third party.
Yeah, so if anything happens, or like we had a guy, this kid recently actually, he used to be in my region, and we sent him. He got sent to Ohio to work in this other region. He just got fired. My boss was talking about it. I feel bad for him. It's kind of funny. He's an idiot if you do this. So he had like over 18 points on his leg. So they only run the fleet company will only run your report. They run it around your birthday, and I don't remember what the report's called, but it's basically like. They check into all your traffic violations stuff. Mm. He had accumulated over 18 points. He had like 4 outstanding tickets. His license was out. And I was like talking to my boss, like, dude, he's probably got a warrant out for his arrest.
Seriously?
And my boss is like, I know. Can you believe that? And I was like, he is the kid that asked when they were getting the car wash. He's like, okay, how do I do the car wash for my company car? Which, fair enough. He didn't know that you could just, when you put your gas card in, they say, do you want a car wash? You just say yes, and it pays for it. But then he goes, how does the car wash know that it's my car?
Oh my god!
And he's like, "Well, you see, it prints out a code, and like you type it in." And then he was like, "Oh," I was like, so "I don't know what his situation was. Like, maybe he didn't have like great guidance from his parents or whatever." But like, I was like, "Dude, if you're just getting high, and if you got 18 points, they got to be pretty high speeding tickets." I was like, "If you're just throwing those in the back of your car and just rolling," and when you get to orientation, they brief you on like, hey, if you screw up with the car, the fleet company will bounce you and we will fire you. There's no
way around that.
Yeah, like
I always thought that shit was so funny in Colombia when people had too many parking tickets and they'd get that barnacle on their windshield.
Yeah,
that would be the worst. Or like a parking boot or something.
Dude, I had a buddy when I was at Miami, second semester my freshman year. Shout out Dave Smith. He got one. He was like big anti-establishment guy, like all this stuff. He's a man, but he got one. He got a boot put on his car in the middle of campus. Somehow gets his car back to the house, and then he and one of my buddies get the boot off his like get it off his car. Like my buddy goes and gets his tool chest out, and they're like working on it all night to get it off. Goes and throws it in a ditch in Indiana.
No way.
And then like a couple weeks later, like cops like coming like asking him where it's at, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, we just want the boot back. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't have a boot, man. I have no clue.
They were out on like in the parking lot behind our house, just working on this car like all night.
That's so funny.
Like, dude, just quit getting parking tickets.
Yeah, go pay $100. Get this done with.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it was gonna be more than that. 'Cause he'd gotten like, I mean, a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But
There's one point in high school, maybe like early college. I didn't get like I've gotten like 2 speeding tickets in my life, and they weren't bad. I was doing like on 40 going west, like right by like the CBC area. I was doing like 75 and a 60. Like I wasn't going 90. So I had those in both times. It was like 74. Actually, one of them was after on my way home from winning the state lacrosse championship sophomore year, and the cop was like, "What are you getting home so fast?" I was like, "I just want to get home and shower." She's like, "Where are you coming home from?" I was like, "State lacrosse game." She's like, "You win?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Congrats, here's your ticket." And I was like, "You fucking bitch, for real." But I didn't get a lot of tickets, but I got in like a lot of like minor accidents. Like I pulled out of my driveway one time. My grandma was parked in the grass. I just didn't see her car, messed it up. There's another time in the rain where I just hit a guy. Leaving school one time, this kid hit me. Sitting in the parking lot one time, this kid pulled up and hit me. I hit another car in college, and it got to a point. And like none of them were serious accidents. Like at none of these accidents, like did my car need repair or anything like that.
Yeah, we were driving the truck.
Yeah, it was a tank. But at one point, it was like after one of these accidents, my dad was like, "Jack, you might have to take like a month off of driving because you're like borderline uninsurable." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, like if you do."
Yeah, dude, at that age.
He's like, "If you get one more ticket, like you're gonna lose your license." And I was like, "Ah, shit." And that was horrifying. Yeah, I was like 18. I was
Dang,
like,
dude,
I can't
wish
lose
I
my
would have known that. I
license.
rode in the car with you all the time.
Yeah.
Didn't realize.
Yeah.
Danger.
Yeah, danger behind the wheel. But the truck, we were safe. It was all good.
Yeah, dude, nothing was happening to us. Had a cannonball in there.
Yeah, actually, there's the 2 times that kids hit me. This is in Big Blue. We were on the outer road leaving CBC, and I swerved to miss the car in front of me because he slammed on his brakes, and the kid behind me didn't, and he just rammed the back end of my car, and there might have been like a baseball-sized indent on my back fender, and his car was totaled. And then same thing, me and my buddy McFerrin were sitting just in the parking spot before school. Like we got in there earlier, just chilling in the car. And the kid that parked next to me just pulls into his parking spot like 35 miles an hour and put us up on the curb. And we were like, what the fuck? And we got out of the car, his hood smashed in, his fender's on the ground, his engine's smoking. We're like, you good? And he's like, yeah, I think my car's done though. And his car was totaled too. And again, the only thing that happened to my truck was a busted taillight. It was wild.
Well, dude, that's like those trucks, and then being above, it's like you're fine.
Mm-hmm. That was a big thing about why I got a truck is because, 1, I wasn't going to be like a speed demon, and 2, if anything happened, I was going to be fine.
Yeah.
That was a huge, because those things are tanks.
When Andy had that LeSabra,
yeah,
Buick back in high school, was like, yo, you hit anything with that, there's about 10 feet of steel between you and anything else.
That's a battering ram. Those are the best. That's the thing that pissed me off about my car. Like, I'm a car guy, and like I loved my trucks because I could work on them, and like I wasn't like fixing the engine or anything, but like if something went wrong or if like the radio blew out, like I could open up the hood and figure it out. And now with these new cars, like
they don't want you to be able to.
Yeah, like you need 6 computers to even tap into the thing.
Well, that's like people like when you go get like people are shocked when you get a chip in your windshield. They got to fix your windshield. They gotta after they do it, they gotta recalibrate it to make sure that all the electronics stuff. People are like, well, I'll just go fix. Like you can, but none of your stuff's gonna work.
Right.
Like
it's crazy.
And people think it's like them. I mean, I know a little. I hear a ton of it because I work with a ton of service managers. But they're like, so many people think they're like scamming them, and there are places that do, but for the most part, there's like, no, you just don't understand. And they try to explain to people like, just don't want to believe it. It's like, do you know how much electronic stuff? Your car's a computer now.
There's like 11 high-end computers in any given car now. It's insane. And like, there's been times where I've taken my car now to like Firestone just to, like for for a while, like the auto headlight thing, if it's on auto at night, the lights and like my interior lights will just shut off for like 20 seconds, and then they'll just come back on. And I took it into Firestone, and they're like, yeah, we can't even look at this. You got to take it to the dealership. Yeah. And then I took it to the dealership, and they had it for like a week because they're like, well, A, we're backed up. 2, we don't have many of your cars, so we have to get another special computer. And then 3, if we think it is what it is, then it's going to take like 4 days to get this part. And I was like, dude, like my headlights just aren't working. Why is it taking so long?
Dude, they're all booked out too. Some of those places are booked out 2-3 weeks. Like I go in there and try and sell them marketing and get more people. The guy's like, well, why do I need it? I'm booked out 2 to 3 weeks. I'm like, at some point it's going to stop. But they're like, so in the ton of them are booked out. And then like, it's like, oh, we have 3 techs out with COVID. So we've got like undermanned, like,
do you know anything about this used car market? Like, I know it's like the computer chips and processing chips, but what's the deal with it? Because some of these cars are marked up like 30%.
Well, so the thing is, there's no. It's like I had a guy tell me at a Hyundai dealership. We were laughing. He goes, "Yeah, they told me last month that I'm gonna start getting 100 cars. Like these places used to get so many cars, like
hundreds of cars a
50.
month.
Like if you're a small dealership, you were getting 50, 100 cars a month. Now they're getting like a few. Like they're rolling in, but they roll in on the transport." And they're already spoken for. Like all the new cars, it's like they've been sold ahead of time. And in some cases, some of these places, the people are paying for the car. They haven't even had it delivered, which I had some people tell me that. I don't think that's necessarily illegal. But that's the problem is there's no, it's the computer chips and just production is just down. Like even if they had all the chips, the production is just slower. Like a ton of those places, especially during COVID, it was like their factories are at 50% capacity or they had a bunch of people out, whatever it was. So then all these people use car. If you're a car dealership, I mean, they don't even make that much money selling the cars, to be honest. A lot of the money they make is in the service anyway, but you have to sell cars because that's where you get service customers from. Right. Like that's where you get PS, hey, you bought it here, bring it back in. But they're like, dude, the auctions for everything's way up, and the problem is it's like, you go in to buy like a truck and you go, hey man, that's marked up like 30% over what sticker should be. I don't want to buy that. The guy goes, I don't care. And the next 24 hours, someone's going to come in here and buy this car.
That's wild.
Because if you, like, that was like Andy was he's like thinking about getting rid of his car.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you should just hold that thing. I don't care if the AC goes out or whatever, like, just bear it because you're going to get taken to the woodshed buying a car.
Because it's the same thing with all this housing market shit. Like, people are selling and all this stuff to get, like, this high market value for their whatever property, but you're buying the same shit.
Yeah, well, it's just like, the car market, supply and demand. There's just so many cars here, so I had some dealerships that were very beginning of COVID were holding back cars and were going to auctions, and the prices had already gone up a little bit, but they were just buying up, like going way, and you could only do that if you're like a huge. That's why a ton of these small mom and pop dealerships are all getting bought out by groups, because especially now sad. You have to be able to deal with the overhead was always a problem in a car dealership anyway, but now it's even more intense because you have to go buy. You can go buy a used car that used to be $25,000 at an auction. You're gonna have to pay like $30, $40 for it, whatever it is, and you need to do that in bulk so that you have
buy 100 of those.
Because you drive. I mean, think about it. You drive by some. I have dealerships that have signs up that say, "Yes, we are open," because they've got 12 cars on their lot.
Dude,
you drive by and you think they're closed.
There's so many dealerships around here, and just like literally driving by them, like they used to like you'd wonder like how would they get these cars out of here, and now there's like 40 cars in the lot.
I know like sales guys that part of their job during this time was like finding creative ways to scatter move the cars on the lot so it looked like it was more full than it was, because you don't do it. It's like any business. You go in somewhere, like you go into a restaurant, and there's nobody in there. The food's probably bad.
Right. I actually was thinking about that. If for whatever reason I were to come into some money, I was looking at the KBB of my car, and I've put 40,000 miles on it since I've had it. I bought it 2 years ago. Almost 3 years ago. Holy shit, almost 3 years ago. And I put like 45,000 miles on it, something like that. And it's got 70,000 miles. And even right now, if I were to sell it privately, I'd lose like $1,000 on it. And if I could, and that's insane.
Pretty good.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And like, I was watching this video the other day, and they were doing cars of like just 4-year-old Civics to like the new Ram trucks to like whatever, like the Broncos, whatever. And some of these cars, like the MSRP, and I've seen pictures, like the MSRP would be like $45,000, but it was on the lot for like $66,000. And it literally, like the sticker just says market price up.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, man.
Dude, and people
I
say
see a car.
They tell you, okay, fine, don't buy, don't buy it from us. I don't care.
It's wild. It's so crazy. I don't know. Whatever. Talk about some sports.
Yeah. What you got?
Where do you think Rodgers is going? Do you think he's staying in GB?
I don't know. I feel like the Broncos thing makes a lot of sense because they hired the OC, but that also just seems like such an easy, seems like too simple. But Elway kind of has a track record for doing that, and I'm pretty sure they could bring him and Adams in if they wanted to. They could definitely figure that out.
I think their cap's like 40.
And if you're him, you saw them do it with Manning. They're clearly willing to. Those couple years, Elway, they just loaded the roster.
Yeah.
And went for it, and they got one. I mean,
their roster right now is pretty loaded.
The thing is, though, the funniest thing is he was complaining about, and I think there were a lot of years where they could have drafted more skill players or more like whatever, but I don't think we brought the opener in here. Oh, nice. But they didn't. But it was like this year they had one of the best rosters in the league, undeniably, and he
the backside of their defense is nasty.
That playoff game, I don't care. Like I've always been a big Rodgers I'm not a huge fan, but I always thought, hey, he's probably the most talented quarterback of all time.
Right.
You can't score 10 points against Jimmy G and the 49ers at home. I don't care if it's
at home.
When you watch the end of that game, he's just forcing the ball to Adams over and over again.
Yeah,
he threw into triple coverage at the end of the game.
I saw a breakdown of that play,
dude.
and he oversailed it like 5 yards into double coverage and like 10 yards.
Guy
shorter.
underneath.
Yeah,
Lazard,
it was like
wide
Lazard,
open.
like with not even like 10 with a guy within 10 yards of him.
I think he'd be kind of stupid to leave, but I think he's
What's he making right now?
He didn't even care about the money, but
that's what I'm saying. Would he take a significant pay cut? I feel like he has.
I don't think he would take a significant. I mean, he's gonna have to take a pay cut. I'm pretty sure, but I don't think he'd take a significant one. But
he signed a 4-year, $134 million contract with the Green Bay Packers.
I mean, like Raiders,
including a $57 million. So he got $100 million guaranteed. Dude, that's insane. So what was he? 20, 29, 21, 27, and then this year they'd owe him 33.
Yeah, when they can. If they do that, they could bring back Adams, him, and Jones. They just go, it was like the Saints did. Like, did you see that? There's a video of the guy, like, people always talk about the Saints are in cap hell, but the way you never are because you can convert a ton of their salary. You just convert it into a signing bonus, and then you can prorate the signing bonus out through the rest of their contract. So you can knock off 40, 50, 60, up to like $100 million in cap just by doing that with a bunch of guys. And none of those guys care because you say, hey, you know that contract you have over the next 6 years? Well, we're just going to give you a bunch of that money now. Is that okay? And like, yeah, it's just fine.
Yeah.
Like, send me a $40 million check, fine.
Because I was looking at the odds the other day, and Vegas thinks the highest odds of him playing are in Denver right now. I was seeing some shit about him going to Nashville because I guess he either owns or
and then they came out and said they're not.
Yeah, they're not interested.
But that half the time, that's all bullshit anyway. But I mean, it's like Vegas, Denver, 49ers would all be. 49ers would probably be pretty ideal because Lance looks like he's not going to be ready to roll for like another 2 or 3 years.
And they're trading Jimmy G.
Yeah.
And that's where he originally wanted to play. Wouldn't that be something, though? There's no way they could send him to the night. Because don't they have to trade him?
Who?
Rodgers.
No, I think he's a free agent, isn't he?
I don't know. I don't know what that means.
I think it's, I think it's a... I think it's a player option / I think he's just a free agent. I mean, if he wants out, they'll send him out.
Free agent 2024. Unrestricted. So maybe this is a player option.
Yeah, well, in the NFL, they can... The NFL is a lot easier to just cut somebody or do whatever. But
right.
Or they just take, like, whatever they get back. But I don't know. I feel like after all the shit show he put on and then you go stink it up, I would think a lot of those people up there would just be, hey, man, like the fans, I'd be sick of that. I mean, you're supposed to, and he is. He's amazing. Like, and probably the MVP and all this. Cup should get the MVP.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you do that in that playoff game, dude, hey, you want to go? See ya. Like, fine. I mean, appreciate you for everything you did and all, but run its course and spout your mouth out. I don't necessarily disagree with some of the stuff he says, but a lot of it's like, dude, you're opening your mouth. He's talking about he's being muffled. He just goes on McAfee every week and says whatever he wants. It's a huge platform. It's like, dude, calm down. You're not being persecuted right now, buddy. No. You're fine.
And it's not like I'm never going to say like the shut up and play sports thing. That's ridiculous. Like how he was like saying like I'm being silenced. It's like, dude, you're like one of the you're one of the biggest sports stars out there. Like, what do you mean, man? And just like the whole drama with it, I don't care what it is. If you bring drama along with you, that's gonna shoo off a few teams
at some point. Yeah,
whether it's 5 teams to 3 teams or 20 teams to 6 teams, whatever. There's some teams that are just like, nah, we're not going to deal with that. If you're the
Titans, the Titans are like, I mean, hey, the Titans got the 1 seed. Had a pretty. I mean, Henry was out that whole time, and ran into that Bengals. I mean, the Bengals run. You run into that. Like Titans is probably sitting there thinking, if we don't get Joe Burrow, we could just as easily be in the Super Bowl.
Right.
So why switch it up? Tannehill's solid.
Tannehill's solid. Stat-wise, he's solid. I mean, he's not...
Especially when you've got that running game to hide him behind, he's more than good enough.
Yeah. I mean, speaking fantasy-wise, he's like a top 12 quarterback. Yeah. Like a high-end sleeper pick, which is wild. I think they've been like, what? Out of the past 5 years, like 3 AFC championship games? 2 AFC championship games?
Yeah.
Which is...
he got that Adam Gase stank off him, and all of a sudden...
So you see that someone's looking to hire him again?
Crazy, dude.
They just need to blackball that guy. He has ruined quarterbacks.
Dude, his some of those memes of him too, his eyes and stuff, and some of those press conferences, it's like, damn, man, what is going on?
Do you think if Aaron Rodgers doesn't stay in Green Bay, do you think Devontae does?
I think Devontae's gonna. It seems like he's gonna follow him.
That's what I'm curious about.
And I mean, if you're him, why not? Rodgers feeds you the ball like none other. Why wouldn't you?
And if a team can, like the Broncos, it sucks because the Broncos, like I like their receiving core as it is. Dude, between Judy, Hamler, and
Sutton.
And
the tight ends, shout out Alberto and Fant's solid.
Man, Fant's a beast. Well, healthy, he's a beast.
They'd probably, if they were going to do that, they'd probably dump Melvin Gordon. But Javonte Williams.
Dude, I've been telling my buddy Davis that this whole year, like this year the pick was Mike Williams. Next year the pick's Javonte Williams.
Him and A.J. Dillon both.
Yeah.
If Aaron Jones is gone, especially.
I could see Aaron Jones staying there.
I don't know if they'll want to pay him, though, dude. If Rodgers isn't coming back, I don't know why you would, because A.J. Dillon seemed like he's more than up to the task. Yeah. He's way cheaper.
Way cheaper. I mean...
I don't think Aaron Jones is that old, but running back age, you're like 28, you're getting there.
Yeah. I don't want to... I like the Packers. Like, I've got nothing wrong with the Packers. It's Green Bay. It's like, quote, small town.
I will say, too, the I Own You thing was sweet.
That was incredible. Yeah, it was so awesome.
That was awesome.
But it'll be interesting to see how they do with Jordan Love or whoever they do, because they've literally had almost 40 years of Hall of Fame quarterback play.
And Jordan Love did not. I mean, hard to step in the middle there, but he looked bad in KC. Like, bad.
I forgot about that. I forgot he couldn't play.
Yeah, and I don't know enough about, like, football. I have enough people that I listen to that I trust their opinion. Mm-hmm. They're like, he looks like he doesn't know how to read a defense to save his life, which is kind of a problem.
I'm super pumped for Trey Lance. One of my buddies, Eric, I don't think Eric, you listen, he doesn't have social media, Carrera. He played ball in FBS. I'm such an ass. Western Kentucky or Western Illinois or something.
Hilltoppers?
I don't know. They're purple.
Oh, Eastern Illinois?
Maybe. No, they're like purple and yellow. I don't know, whatever. But he played against Trey Lance. And this Eric kid has played against some dogs. And he said that Trey Lance, hands down, is the best athlete he's ever seen.
Well, he hasn't even played that much football, they were saying, necessarily.
So I can't, and like Rich Eisen was talking about the other day about how, like, you can't say that the Niners trading up to get him wasn't worth it because you haven't seen him yet. But, like, there's a reason they did.
I will say the one thing you can say about the Niners is imagine that team they had this year just with all of that cat just taking those picks or doing something else with that. I mean, they were right there as it was. You add two big difference. I don't remember how many. They said it was like 2 or 3 picks, wasn't it?
I think it was 3. I think it was like a first rounder next year.
That first rounder from that year.
And then a second rounder, I think, something like that.
I think if you just added
third round pick.
A couple difference makers with that.
And, like, I don't know what their draft position was, but, like, think about the rookies this year and who they could have had. Like, that's
what I'm saying.
You had Micah Parsons to that defense. That's a force. And who I don't know. I mean,
or another real receiver.
Yeah, and like we can't. I mean, we haven't seen what he played like a total like combined time of like maybe 2 or 3 games.
Well, and they said too he was going to be a few because he didn't even play that many games in college, and he hadn't played a ton in high school either. He hasn't played.
When he got drafted, he hadn't played in like 400
a ton
days
of
or something like
high level football. Period. So just he's a crazy athlete.
So going back to all this Packers talk, we've talked about it some, like our preseason thoughts and like fantasy and all that. I put a futures bet on either the Cardinals or the Packers winning the Super Bowl in like week 8. It was like 5 to win. It was free play. It was like 5 to win. The Cardinals have been like 5 to win, like 47 or something like that. And the Packers are like 5 to win 38. And I don't know. It's like how I don't really know where I'm going with this. But like what I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. Like it's so wild how like we had these projections and like our thoughts on everything. And like like how you listen to these things and like these people will like
changes like
that you trust, and just like that, like we have almost a Bengals Niners Super Bowl.
Yeah, fuck the Rams.
Fuck the Rams so hard. Fuck the Rams so hard. Let's talk about that.
I saw.
Give me your reasoning why you're not a Rams fan. Because Will's reasoning is hilarious.
Why I'm not a Rams fan?
Like, Will's reasoning for why he is a Rams fan is hilarious to me. That like kids divorce thing.
Yeah, dude. No, if they would have left for. My biggest problem, and I hate it too, because I'm an Arsenal fan, and Kroenke owns
that
Arsenal.
Stings.
Hurts, but just the whole way he went. I mean, he bought the Rams to move them, which I understand if you're going to do that. It's a business thing. I get that. And I get the NFL wanting to have a team in LA. The stadium's sweet. It's a great venue for Super Bowls. I mean, it's going to be insane. But the way he went about it and trying to act like that wasn't his.
When did he
plan,
buy them?
Like early 2000s, I think, something like that. But I think it was after we won the Super Bowl with Warner. But he
owns so many teams.
They borderline intentionally made sure the team was going to be crappy the last years. Like when they brought in Jeff Fisher and was like, hey, we're just going to be like semi-mediocre. They drafted terribly. And then on his way out, he said the main reason was because it wasn't a football city. The fans sucked. They were selling out for so many years, and the team was god-awful. And then they were the worst team for like a 10-year stretch. Eventually, people are going to stop showing up at a high clip. But they sold. I saw it was like 2000 or something like that, early to like almost 2010. They sold out like every game.
I saw a video the other day on Twitter of the last home Rams game.
Dude, we went to that Battlehawks game.
Yeah, that was
electric. There were so many people there for that. So many people tailgating. You put out a half-decent team some of those years. You go back and look at their records of 10 years before they left. The epitome of mediocrity. They had a worse record than the Lions did. It's how do you and then you just dog the city on your way out, say fans suck, city's trash. I was like, how am I going to continue to root for that team?
He's an asshole.
How is that?
Oh, I didn't know this. In '95, he helped Frontier move the L.A. Rams from Anaheim to St. Louis. And then he moved them back in 2014. So he owner of the Nuggets, owner of the Wagoneer Ranch.
Avalanche. Well, I think his kid technically owns the Avalanche because there's the rules about not owning a certain number of sports teams in different.
Arsenal FC, Arsenal WFC, owner of the Avalanche, owner of the Rapids, owner of the Mammoth, and owner of the Gladiators, owner of the LA Gorillas.
And he's the one that built up all the stuff in Columbia, Missouri. And he's married to a...
Really?
Yeah, he's one of that real estate. He's a big real estate guy.
He owns like half the valley, or he did own like half the valley.
Well, and so that plot of land where he put that stadium, he bought it. That's why he got hosed in that. I mean, they could have gotten... If they didn't want to settle, they got that 790, whatever, that million or whatever it was. They could end up getting way more. Because when he bought he's owned that land, they put that stadium on forever, and he had basically indicated to people that was his whole plan and everything, but he denied that was the case, but they just settled because nobody wants to go to, like, that court. Lawyers just get paid for that. But I don't get how the guy, I'm not, like, sitting here, like, thumping St. Louis is the greatest city of all time, but I'm generally fairly proud of where we're from, and I like the people that live here and stuff.
I agree with that.
And you watch the guy openly trash everybody here, and you're still in because you're. I could never. I can't even. I didn't even. Never was never going to entertain being a Rams fan ever again.
I'm glad because I moved here from Ohio, so when I moved here, I already did not have an attachment to the Rams, and then when I moved here, it was halfway through grade school, so they were already dog shit. Like literally, when we moved here, they might have been like 4-12. Yep. Like, and then all my entire year.
Look up their records by year, and look what they moved them in 2014. Just look at 24.
Just gonna have it.
It should somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, here we go. So look at those. They came here in '95, 7-9, 6-10, 5-11, 4-12, 13-3, 10-6.
Well, they win the Super Bowl.
99 versus the Titans. Girl, want to shout out. My mom saw that movie last night.
Shout out Steve McNair, R.I.P.
Damn, they were 14-2. Oh, that was when they lost. Was that Brady's first Super Bowl?
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Spygate cheating.
Oh my God, Warner got the MVP and a losing.
No, that's just for the year.
Like,
yeah.
Okay. So then after that, 7-9, 12-4,
And then watch it. Watch it after 2005.
8-8, 6-10, 8-8, 30. Yeah, I moved here in 2007. That's so funny. 3-13, 2-14, 1-15, 7-9, 2-14, 7-8, 7-9, 6-10, 7-9.
You expect a bunch of people to be coming to those games for like.
Good God, man.
In the way they were building the teams, and like they brought in Jeff Fisher at the end there, and he was very clearly brought in to transition, to just hold the team over and then transition them out.
It's so fucked up. It's so funny too that you say Arsenal because I've seen so many videos because my buddies are Arsenal fans, and I just see a bunch of soccer stuff on Twitter. Just the amount of like people that have been outside of like the stadium, like literally saying,
"No, they hate him." Those people hate him more than St. Louis people do.
So what's up with that? Do you know anything on that?
He doesn't. They know he's got stacks, like so much money, and he doesn't spend them. And he's also never over there, ever.
Yeah.
Like you got to show up. You know, you got to.
He probably could care less about it.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. It's a business venture for him, and it's a damn good one. It's a huge. Arsenal is a huge, popular brand.
I wonder if he bought them.
He just doesn't spend the money, and it's
Arsenal. 2007.
And they've kind of been on a downturn probably the last.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're still decent, but they used to be routinely in the top 4 in the Premier League, playing in the Champions League every single year. And when you're used to that, and then they haven't made it since, it's been at least like 4 or 5 years or whatever it is.
They even made the Champions League?
Yeah, and he hasn't made, you would expect an owner, it'd be like if Chelsea or Man City or Man United or Liverpool don't do that, there are certain steps that are taken financially and otherwise to make sure that you get back, and he doesn't care.
Especially when your owner owns 10 sports teams. He's got bills.
Well, and he's got all that money, and he's married to a Walmart.
That's right. It's a Walton. That's
Walton,
right.
Yeah. So it's not like...
What a cocksucker.
It's no sweat off his back to drop like...
Dude, he just looks like a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
I bet he's super racist.
I said I would never...
Dick.
Won't wish death on anybody, but I hope he dies in the most painful way possible.
Ann Walton is an heiress to the Walmart fortune. Good Lord.
Yeah, he's got an amount of money that's...
Her net worth is $9 billion.
Like, that's why him and Jerry Jones are, like, as far as NFL owners go, like, they're, like, so when all this stuff went down with Kroenke, Jerry Jones is the mouthpiece for Kroenke, because Kroenke's a pretty quiet, like, doesn't talk or anything. But him and Jerry Jones have so much more money than pretty much all the other owners.
Yeah.
They can call all the shots, because when you're moving that much of the money, you call the shots. There's no...
You've got the LA team and you've got the Dallas team.
And you're both...
One team is the most valuable, like, out there. The other one just built a $5 billion stadium. That's something.
They would never let those... The NFL wouldn't let anybody take out a loan over, like, it's like 1 or 2 bills or whatever for a stadium, and then they just blew it out of the water for that.
Yeah, didn't they finance like didn't they literally get like a $4.something billion loan?
It was almost 5 basically, which is a record setting. And that was the other thing he wanted. They were talking the whole stadium thing here, and people were just so. He basically wanted everybody to want us to pay for all, like taxes to pay for all. I was like, dude, you could definitely fork over a little bit of cash here.
What an ass.
That's why, dude.
If you could pick a team to move to St. Louis, who would it be? I'd pick the Chargers.
Well, the Chargers would be good.
The STL Bolts.
And because they're gonna move. There's no way they're keeping them there. Nobody hardly goes to the Rams games. No one goes to the Chargers games.
I was thinking that. But I would imagine, obviously it's sick playing in that stadium, but I would imagine the players hate it.
Oh, it's got to suck, dude. Like, being on a silent count in your own stadium has to be the most aggravating. You have no home. You don't play home games, technically. And like you play home games as far as you're comfortable there because you live there, and that's where you're, like, it's your locker room. But other than that, there's nothing about it that's a home environment for you.
The NFC Championship game, it was like 70% Niners fans.
No, Evan said there were a lot of Rams fans there. They would find these camera guys would find like a patch of all Rams fans, and they split it.
The one section.
And then they zoom out, and it's just red.
It was sweet though. You see those videos of like them playing the Bengals Chiefs game and everyone cheering for the Bengals. That's sweet. Sorry, Chiefs buddies, but
I don't have near as big of a problem with it. But anybody from here that doesn't have a serious tie to the Chiefs or the Kansas City and decided to just go become a transplant Chiefs fan, no respect either.
None. I did have a buddy that actually Charlie, Dr. Charlie, he moved. Well, he didn't move. I guess you could say he moved. He did his med school in KC, and when he moved for med school, it was like the year before they got Mahomes. Or no, I think it was the year after the Rams left that he went there. So when the Rams left, and then he moved to Kansas City, he was like, "Fuck it, I'm a Chiefs fan now," and I respect that. I'll get that.
Yeah.
I'll get down with that.
See, I could just never hop in on anything KC anyway.
Nah.
I feel like there's a friendly rivalry between St. Louis and Kansas City people, and especially being at Mizzou. There's a ton of that.
Sure.
And I was like, I don't see how you could just hop on with that, dude.
That's why I love my buddy Noah as a Dolphins fan. Because when the Rams left, he was like, Dolphins have sick colors, and they got Jarvis Landry.
I tried that one year because they brought in Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
Jay Cutler. But it's hard to become especially if they're not. I mean, if they're not good, and you're just like, okay, they're 8-8 or whatever, and you're trying to watch these games either halfway across the country. There's no connection there, but I do love Jay Cutler. So
it was so funny. Actually, it wasn't funny. It was kind of annoying when the Browns were like 4th in Super Bowl favorites the year we got Odell before the season started, and I'd be wearing jerseys around. People like, oh, you fucking bandwagon. It's like, dude, I've been enduring 20 years of this.
Oh, I was going to tell you if Joe Burr beats the Rams and I'm going to become a Bengals fan. I already said that. You want my Baker jersey?
I got one, but I'll take another one.
Is it a brown one?
It's the Color Rush one. It's all brown.
I've got like the straight.
I don't have the brown and white
the straight
one.
brown one. I'll sell it to you for like not much at all.
I got mine off of. I got all my jerseys
That's
from
the stock
Express.
Yeah, this one's a real one.
Really?
Yeah.
Why'd you get it?
I liked him, dude. I loved Baker in college, and then that stock went dookie.
Dude, if he's the savior, he's the savior. I'm not gonna talk bad about our quarterback, but I was so pissed when we drafted him. I was so pissed.
It was kind of a wild move.
It was a wild move. Could
have traded back and done it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if you look at that draft, dude, I want to find this thing on Twitter. There is a thing. I bet I liked it.
That thing, if they had drafted,
yeah, did you see
correctly,
that? Like the 2016 or 2017,
basically could have drafted a Pro Bowl team.
Yeah, they could have gotten like Kittle, Jones, like someone. I don't know.
It was stupid.
I'm gonna find it. That was crazy. But like that's literally like just Browns fandom. Like name the player and we could have gotten. I mean,
so funny because going to Miami, I have so many Ohio friends, and one of my buddies, like probably more of them are Browns fans, but there's a good amount of them that are Bengals fans. It's kind of
all my
split.
friends from Ohio are Bengals
fans.
And
one of my Bengals fans buddies like, yeah, it's kind of funny. Burrow is what Baker was supposed to be. For the Browns. I was like, yeah, that's tough.
And literally that year that we drafted Baker, the next pick was Saquon. And say what you want about his injuries, but he's like a generational talent.
Didn't Josh Allen go like 9th?
8th or something like that, or 10th? Yeah, I'm looking for this tweet.
Although Josh Allen goes to the Browns, he might not. You never know.
That's the thing. It's like people are like, oh, you could have had him. It's like, yeah, but like we were ass. So it's like Josh Allen had Dable and McDermott. Like they coached that dude up because he was dog shit.
Yeah, well,
his completion percentage was like 56%.
That playoff, his first playoff game, and he had a couple of those plays where it was just like you were in the yard playing, he would just chuck it. It was against the Titans. It was that nasty. It was like a 16-10, 16-13 nasty game, and he had a couple plays where, like, dude, what the hell is this guy doing?
Yeah, and people were like, is this really the guy?
And then next year he just came in and lit it up.
So this 2017 draft, the Browns at 1 took Myles Garrett, then Jabril Peppers, then Njoku, Deshaun Kaiser, Larry Ogunjobi, Howard Wilson, and Roderick Johnson. I don't know the last two guys, but those rounds 4 and 5. And what they could have done with the same exact picks, they could have gotten Mahomes, and then Tre'Davious White, and then T.J. Watt, and then Alvin Kamara, and then Cooper Kupp, and then George Kittle, and then Aaron Jones. With picks 1, 25, 29, 52, 65, 126, and 160.
Yeah, and it's like obviously that like
hindsight's always
hindsight, but
that's
you look
insane.
at who's there, like, damn, we didn't figure any of this out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't figure any of this out. And like we took
Deshaun Kaiser.
Say what you want. Yeah. Like say what you want. I'm biased, but like I would rather have Myles Garrett than Mahomes for the Browns because it's the same thing with the Josh Allen thing. Like, if we would have drafted Mahomes, I guarantee you he's not Mahomes. Yeah. But Myles Garrett's still Myles Garrett.
Yeah, it's more foolproof.
Right. And so I'll die on that hill, but, like, yeah. And I don't know, whatever. And then the next year we took Baker, and that was with Saquon and Josh Allen and then Lamar went that draft too. But it's just, I mean, you could say it for any team. Like
you do that for a bunch of drafts. Yeah. I'm sure you could find a like, oh man, we could have had this guy, and this guy. But half the time too, you never know. You're sitting there during the draft, and if you're a fan and they draft a second running back, like, we need a corner. We have to have one. Mm-hmm. That happened. There's so many times which I always thought that's kind of an odd draft. I would always default to who's the best player on your board.
I agree.
Unless it's close between a couple of guys and you really have a positional need, because you go and you reach on one position, like, wait, and you're like, dang, that guy wasn't going to get drafted for like another round and a half, 2 rounds. I'd rather trade back in and sacrifice assets later. Be like, hey, we got to have a corner before the 5th round. Okay, it's the 3rd round, and this guy's might be gone by the time we get to our 4th, but there's this awesome receiver, this awesome whatever that we have highly rated. Just take him.
Yeah, you have to. And that's what, like...
You'd rather have a bunch of talent than have to plug holes, as opposed to having guys like, well, we drafted him because we really needed a corner.
Mm-hmm. And that's... I remember the video... There was a video of, on draft day last year, whoever picked before the Cowboys took the corner. I think it was the corner that went to the Panthers. I don't remember his name. The West Virginia dude.
Yeah. What's his name?
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But, and then after they picked him... Then the draft, like the war room for the Cowboys, was immediately empty because that's clearly who they were going to pick. And then they just took the best player on the board, which is Micah Parsons. And I mean, look how that turned out.
Turned out okay.
Yeah, that dude's a dog.
Yeah. Well, they had to sit him a year or two because he had that injury, but immediately this year, unreal.
Who? Parsons?
Parsons.
No, Diggs. They said Diggs for a year.
Was that Diggs?
Yeah, he was. This year was his
Parsons
second year.
missed that whole year at Penn State.
Yeah, like a bicep.
Yeah, he had like an odd. It was like a weird injury.
Yeah, but I love this shit. So, Cup, I agree. Like, because MVP, like, there's been talk, not like serious talk, but like analysts and stuff talk about how there should just be a quarterback award.
Well, it's basically, if he doesn't get it this year, I mean, Brady and Rodgers both had great years, but one part of it is after you watch the playoffs with Rodgers, because Rodgers had a pretty unreal year, but Cup, there's no way you can say that he wasn't more valuable. If you take him, especially after Robert Woods got hurt,
right?
If you take him off that team, they're winning at least 2 or 3 less games. There's no way around it.
Easily.
Every time, every third down, every time they need something, Cooper Kupp.
Isn't he only like the 4th or 5th receiver to get the Triple Crown too? It's like him, Jerry Rice. I think Calvin Johnson did it.
Yeah, Calvin definitely did it. Well, this thing is like, if he does all that and he can't win MVP, how are you? I think maybe the last running back to it might have been like LT.
That sounds right.
Like, if you can't get it doing what Kupp did this year, it's just going to be a quarterback award, because the quarterback has obviously the most influence on the game. There's no way around it.
Yeah. So, I mean, since 1990, Jerry Rice, Sterling Sharp, and Steve Smith. But this is from 2015, so...
That's probably still right. You
see an answer in here? Oh, here we go. All the great that have been in the league that have not won. Oh. Randy Moss, T.O., Chris Carter. Calvin Johnson never got it. Larry Fitz never got it. Huh. This doesn't have an answer for us, though. The list of winners gets most impressive. Here we go. The list of winners gets even more exclusive if you look at the Super Bowl era of the NFL football.
Go back. There might list all of them above that.
I think that last list did. But that last list, there's like a guy from like 66, and there was like 40s. So, Super Bowl era, it's only, Jerry Rice, Sterling Sharp, and Steve Smith, and now Kupp. And
you're telling me
those are all Hall of Fame players.
He can't get MVP for that?
Yeah, come on. And, like, that's what it is. It's the most valuable player to that team. And they're in the Super Bowl. So, do the playoffs have any factor for MVP?
It's not. I think they vote before. They just don't release it.
Oh, that sucks. I hope he gets it.
I'm sure Rodgers.
I mean, he had another insane year. I don't know.
Fuck the Rams.
Fuck the Rams. What do you know about the MLB lockout? Educate me.
They just.
I saw some shit the other day. They announced something. They didn't come to an agreement or something.
Yeah, the MLB. Well, now they won't.
Like yesterday.
The MLB won't come to the table or whatever. The MLB asked for a federal mediator to sit down and do it, but basically the owners just don't want to cede on anything. And some of the stuff the players are asking for is pretty basic. The one thing I would say is,
what are they asking for?
They're asking for, Max Scherzer put out, they're basically asking for lower the service time. They want younger players. Like, you got these guys.
Oh, Matt was telling me that, like,
they got these guys like Soto and Harper and these guys when they're like 19, 20, 21, 22, and they're making nothing. Mm-hmm. Absolutely nothing, but they're the surefire. Like Soto, borderline, almost won the MVP last year. He made like $500,000 or whatever it is. They basically want to move up the service time so you can make your market value, or at least something closer to it. And they want to do away with, like, you remember when the Cubs had Chris Bryant and they said that it wasn't right to put him on the opening day roster and they held him back. They brought him up like a month later, but that doesn't accrue him his service time, so then he doesn't become a free agent until 1 year later. They want them to quit being able to manipulate that. And then I think there's some stuff, I don't know if the minor leaguer stuff is in there about housing and food and stuff for the minor league players because they get shafted.
Matt was telling me that, like, right now it's like the NFL rookie contract's like 4 years, and then you have that 5th year option, and with MLB players it's 6 years.
Yeah.
And you have like 3 years of like committed no matter what, and then the following 3 years is like you can't even become a free agent until like going into that year 6 or something like that.
They basically, the players want to have more control about making money and what they need to do, and the owners are like, no, because it's way easy. I mean, think of how nice it is. And the Cardinals have benefited from this plenty of times. It's like half these guys that come up and are young and are making a huge impact on your team, and you're paying them
nothing,
absolutely nothing for 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is. And then there's one other thing about it that they're trying to get. Can't remember. But the thing I will say is the owner. It's like obviously the owners aren't going to relent, but the owners pretty much have just like they're not negotiating. They're not at all.
Fuck that.
But then the players too. Some of it is like the players aren't very willing. It's like you're probably only any of these CBA relations, any of these like these negotiations between CBAs between players and owners. Both sides are going to have to be willing. It's like you come in. Let's say you come with 5. You got 5 bullet points. And you want all these things. You're only going to get 2 or 3 of them. You're not going to get all of them. Right. There's just that's not how negotiations work.
Right.
And I get posturing.
But here's like the list of things we're asking for.
Yeah, you got to pick the ones you have to have. And I get posturing like that, but the owners pretty much have just been like, yeah, we're not going to negotiate. And then they ask for a mediator, and the players are like, you guys won't even sit down with us again. It's so reckless for them too because
for the players,
just for the whole league in general, it's not like there could. I would not. I like baseball. I like watching baseball. You think about kids though that are like 8, 9, 10, 12, 13 now. None of those kids, I don't think, are sitting down and watching a whole baseball game. They're sitting on their the attention span is not there. In the MLB, halting your season and stuff like this just further diminishes the product you have. I wouldn't doubt if in the next 5 to 10 years the MLB falls below the NHL or anything as far as like because it's kind of like now. It's kind of like NFL, NBA, probably MLB as far as the hierarchy of the major sports popularity.
I bet the NHL's pushing it.
Yeah,
right now.
I like the MLB could really end up finding themselves in a position that it's like, hey, you're not popular anymore at all. So
I was telling Davis that the other day that I think it's a stretch, but I think that like with this big push in soccer, the MLS has a chance to keep up with the MLB. But then he was making the point, it's like, well, you can watch the MLS or you could just go watch Arsenal.
The MLS has got. I will say the MLS now, as opposed to when we were like 10, 12, the MLS was dog water. Now they've gotten a lot of these older guys, and they get a bunch of guys that come up from South America.
Some dude just just signed with Fire, some big name guy. Charlie was telling me about it.
Yeah, the Toronto team got this dude, this Insigne dude from Italy too. This is pretty good, but it's way
this guy, Rafael.
Oh, I don't even know who that
is. From Bundesliga, FC Köln. I don't know who that is. I guess it was a big deal, though.
They come over. Oh, and you guys were talking about you were saying Andy said the STL team could end up playing like Real Madrid or something.
Something like that.
So what it is
you know what I was talking about?
So if STLFC, I don't know. I'm assuming I don't know how the qualifying works for the CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah.
But if they qualify, I'm sure you have to like win the MLS. I don't know. I don't pay that close of attention to those regulations. But if they win the MLS Cup and you get into the CONCACAF Champions League. If you win the CONCACAF Champions League, which no MLS, this is how the MLS is still not that great. No MLS team has ever won. They've been in it for like I think 7, 8, 10 years or something. They've never won the CONCACAF Champions League, which is all like South America and us.
Right.
if you win that, you get into the Club World Cup. And the winner of every so
that's
say Real Madrid wins the Champions League this year, and
that's what it is.
And then whoever from the MLS won the CONCACAF Champions League, they would play in the Club World Cup, which isn't. No one is no real fan in Europe cares about the Club World Cup very much, but it is a legitimate competition. It's not like a friendly. It's not a friendly.
It's a game that actually means something.
It's a real cup event.
So that's what it was. I knew there was something.
It's just that no MLS team has ever been in it because they've never won the CONCACAF Champions League.
In CONCACAF, you're saying like the MLS of Canada, the MLS of Mexico, the MLS of Brazil, the MLS of Peru, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy. It seems like the Team USA, though, is doing pretty well. Better than usual.
Yeah, well, they blew that game against Canada. Nobody likes that coach.
Why? The guy we have now?
They're definitely in a better place than they were before, but I guess, and I don't know, my two brothers played a ton of competitive soccer, and they know more about, the tactics of it and stuff. He's just apparently very poor tactical. The setup, him as far as setting up the program, because running a national team, half of it's being the coach in the game, but a lot of it's setting up the youth program, the academy, and making sure that you're bringing in the right players and giving people looks and developing the team and stuff like that. That side, he's good. The game side, and you see it in some of these games, like the Canadian team was, they had a lot of their good players. They were shorthanded, and we went up there and just laid a complete,
what did we lose?
Laid a complete 2-0, and they did never. In a lot of these games, you watch them, and it's like I
saw a video of just a few chances they had.
They beat Honduras, and the first two goals, all the goals are off set pieces, which is not. If you want to, the teams that rely on scoring a lot on set pieces are usually smaller countries and clubs that can't generate chances, can't actually attack, but it's you got to capitalize on it. Stoke, way back when they were probably when we were younger, 10, 12. A bunch of their goals, they would do these long throw-ins, and basically they had these guys who could launch a throw-in from fairly close to the box, into the box like a corner, and they would rely on that to score because they didn't have a ton of skill, but you pack it up in the back, and then you capitalize on some of these set pieces, and you win 1-0 or you draw 1-1. It's that's not a...
It's not championship level.
The U.S. has enough talent to not be relying on set pieces for the main way of scoring.
I didn't know your brothers are big in soccer.
My older brother played a lot of club soccer. My little brother could have played college soccer. He decided not. He played Gallagher Academy. Was doing the get out of school early, go up, play these games. He was playing soccer all the time to the point where they're like, hey, we really don't want you to play other sports. He was a goalie, not a soccer field player. Yeah. But that shit is intense as hell.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
They told he didn't play. He played 1 year Marquette soccer, and then they're like, hey, we probably prefer you just not play.
I remember, I think it was our senior year, there's a bunch of kids that said fuck it and played for CBC.
Yeah, there were.
We were good.
They told, because they would tell you that's fine. They had the top level team, and then if you weren't on that team, they put you on one of the other teams that were still really good, but they would tell you, you can't. They didn't want you to, period. But if you were on the top one, it was basically understood that you were not going to play high school soccer.
Those are the varsity level kids on the academy team. That's wild. Why are you an Arsenal fan?
So my older brother...
That jacket you have is sick.
Yeah, I've had that thing forever, too. Yeah, that's sweet. From, I've had that for a long time. That was the sideline jacket way, 10 years ago or something. But my older brother, I got into soccer and started basically through, FIFA and my older brother's a huge soccer fan, and I started watching it with him, and he was a Chelsea fan, and Arsenal and Chelsea are pretty big rivals, so I was like, well, fuck you.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's sick.
I've always been, I'm not a tag along, if you're one, especially if it's my brother's, if you're that one, I'll take the other one. If you're red, I'm blue.
In-house, literally.
Yeah.
I like Arsenal. After that one with Davis, he was telling me, my buddies were telling me that I should pick a Premier League team because I'm a PSG guy, and I want to pick a Premier. I don't.
More fun just because that's the most popular
right
league and it's most competitive.
Yeah. And maybe I'll tag along on Arsenal because my friends are Arsenal. I don't want to be a Davis.
Wouldn't recommend it. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough right now.
I'm a Browns fan already, so whatever.
Yeah, just slop it.
I'll endure. Yeah, because Davis is a City fan. You're Arsenal. Charlie's Arsenal. Noah is Arsenal and Dortmund. Hoover's Spurs.
Yeah, fuck Andy.
That's what everyone says.
Dude, when you go, yeah, well, Andy's a Spurs fan, and Davis goes, oh, Dave, I don't even know. He goes, I'm sorry, Andy.
He literally, he took a bathroom break, and he came back down and sat down.
They haven't won a trophy since, like, Nam.
And the first thing he said, he's like, that sucks, he's a Spurs fan.
That's what everybody would say, too. It's so funny.
Are they just bad? Or are people just not like them?
They're good.
Well, they're good.
They haven't won anything big in a long time.
I got a lot of friends that are Man U fans. I don't want to be a Man U fan.
Them and Liverpool, that's like the equivalent of doing that would have been like bandwagoning the Warriors.
Oh, that's lame.
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
That's lame. Fuck that. Have you watched Ted Lasso?
I'm probably one of the few people that hasn't.
I haven't either, because it's on Apple TV, isn't it?
Yeah, and I could watch it. I just haven't.
I've heard it's incredible, because I remember seeing like the trailer for it, and that's like, because he was like a football, like an American football coach or something, and they're like, yeah, you're pretty much taking over the Jets.
Yeah.
And he was pissed. And I was like, that's a hilarious comparison. Yeah, that's kind of what it is.
The only thing I've seen, I saw like it was like some Twitter thread, and it was like, post your favorite scene from a TV show or whatever. And it's like a 2 or 3 minute scene of him playing, which I assume that the guy is like the...
Another one?
Yeah. I assume the guy is like from what I deduced, I assume the guy, this older guy and this older chick are the owners, but they're like divorced, and the guy's like standing there with his like super young hot girlfriend or whatever, and they're playing dart. Him and Ted Lasso basically start playing darts for like they're in some argument, but I just cut in the middle of the scene, and the guy Ted Lasso goes, okay, well if you win, you can choose the lineup for the last 2 games. So I'm sure he doesn't like whatever Ted Lasso does. He's like, if I win, you can't come to the owner's box for the rest of the year or whatever. Goes through the whole thing they're playing, and then at the end he basically is like talking through it and explains to the guy like, hey, maybe if you were more, he's basically calling the guy a huge bully asshole. He's like, maybe if you were more inquisitive, you would have asked me like, hey Ted, you played a lot of darts, and he needs like 2 bullseyes and a triple 20. Hits the triple 20. He's like, me, I still played a ton of darts. And I said, yeah, every Friday with my dad. And just like drills him. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm sure it is a good show. I just have never gotten around to watching it.
I haven't either. And I think there's only 2 seasons or 3 seasons or something like that. And it's gotten like glowing reviews. Everyone that I know that's watched it is head over
heels. The amount of people, I almost started watching it. Actually, now it's probably part of the reason I don't, is because so many people, if you say I haven't seen it, oh my God, it's like with Game of Thrones. Like, you have to watch this show. I'm sure it's good.
That's how I am with Peaky Blinders. I just didn't watch it when it came out, and now there's like 5 seasons or something like that.
Yeah. See, and now I'm going to tell you to
you gotta watch Peaky. Yeah, I've tried. I've watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes, something like that. And no offense to the show, and if you rewatch it, you'll know. But like those first like 2 or 3 episodes are incredibly
slow. Yeah, you got to break through.
And they're only like 8 episodes a season or something like that. There's just so much shit out there that I want to watch. And like now the new season of Ozark is out, and I haven't even watched the 3rd season of that. New season of Yellowstone just came out. I haven't seen the 3rd season of that.
Dude, there's so many shows I'm behind on because I spend a ton of time listening to like basketball podcasts. So then on my TV watching is way down.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you haven't seen this? You haven't seen that? Like, I just don't have, especially with work, like I just don't have time.
Yeah. No, I get home, I work out, I eat, and I spend a lot of my time like literally like on YouTube, as corny as it is, like I'll watch an hour and a half of like the highlight clips of all my sports shows for that day. And like that way I don't have to watch the whole 3 hours of all of them. I just get to hear
you
the
don't try to
topics.
catch it in the middle of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's all of them are on the same time.
Well, and there's so many shows too. Like a bunch of these shows that people talk about that are awesome. It's like you have to be fully. If you can watch it and not pay attention, but you're gonna miss a ton of stuff. You have to be engrossed in the show. So it's like if I'm gonna do that, I can't be doing anything else. And I can flip on. I've probably got at least 5 or 6 different NBA podcasts that I listen to on a regular basis. Like I can flip on one of those, walk around my house with my headphones on, and do a bunch of stuff. And if I miss 2 or 3 minutes of these guys talking about some random trade scenario they're talking about, I can slide back and listen to it, or I didn't even realize that I missed it because it's not a pertinent thing. As opposed to you miss some big scene in a show, and then 2 episodes later they're talking about something like,
what the hell did I miss?
What is this? What did I miss?
The most recent show I started was The Witcher, and that show bangs.
Sweet show.
That show's sick because the 2nd season just came out.
Henry Cavill. Beast.
Yeah, I didn't know him. Like I'd never seen Superman or anything. I knew who he was, but I'd never like seen anything with him. And that dude's a stud.
He apparently too is like
a big time nerd.
I think those are books or
they
something.
Are, yeah.
There's one of the girls that's in that show with him regularly is like, Yeah, he knows, like we'll be on set, and he just knows all this crazy shit, like, lore about that show.
Camden was telling me that they were, like, filming a scene or something, and the director was like, let's do this. And that Henry was like, well, actually, in part 4 of book 3, it goes like this. And the
That's like Tom
like,
Holland with all the Spider-Man stuff. Like, they just know because they're huge, just geeks about the show.
Which I respect the shit out of that. That's awesome. That just makes it that much more better because that just means
you're just that much of a better actor for it. Yeah. You clearly care. And you know, it's like anything. If you know everything about the background of it, you're going to be way better at acting it.
That show's sweet. Like, talk about a show starting off slow. The first scene of that show is him fighting like a 10-foot spider.
Yeah.
That show is, and then like in the end of the first, spoiler, it's the first episode. Fuck off.
That show's been out for years.
Like the end of the first episode, like people are taking arrows to the eye. And it's like, this is exactly
the
what
action,
I signed up
the
for.
action in that show, it's kind of similar to the sword.
Like,
and
it's like Game of Thrones level
medieval
shit.
combat action is awesome.
And I'm so here for it because I don't know any. Have you ever played the Witcher games?
I've never had them. I've played sparingly something like at people's houses and stuff.
Apparently The Witcher 3 is like all time.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
I've heard the games are awesome.
Yeah. And that's because I know nothing about the show. And that's what I really liked about it is like I wasn't expecting anything.
Yeah.
I fucked with it though. There's so much I got to catch up on. NBA. So in all the order of the sports that we just talked about, what is your ranking? For you personally, whether watching, paying attention to, or enjoying? I would guess basketball.
Clear one.
Yeah.
For me.
Who's your team?
The Blazers, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I got it because we don't have one, so like I could have picked whoever. I used to play.
Not a Hawks fan?
No,
Church is a big Hawks fan.
Yeah, well, they used to be St. Louis.
Their one championship is here. Mm-hmm. I actually played at their old gym.
Yeah, but I became a Blazers fan. Literally, it's so funny. That's how people do it all the time.
Trailblazers. Where is that?
Portland.
Portland Trailblazers.
Through 2K. Because I would play 2K back... probably like 8, 9, 10. They had Brandon Roy and LaMarcus Aldridge, and I just played with them a lot, and I liked them. I was like, all right, I'm a Blazers fan now.
Sure, hell yeah.
And then now they have Lillard and McCollum, which they're getting close to dumping it out, but I just stuck with it for a long time.
That's sick.
Because I figured there's probably never going to be an NBA team here, so I was like, well, you just pick whoever you want.
That's fair. Apparently there's talks of KC getting one, because I guess there might be an expansion.
They used to have the Kings, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they used to be the KC Kings.
That's kind of dope. I bet that's a sweet retro jersey.
Yeah, yeah.
So NBA then what?
So NBA, I would say, I almost probably like the MLB and the NFL are probably close to me, but there's just so much more to consume with the NFL and fantasy. So the NFL is probably ahead, but I'm a huge Birds fan, so that really not.
Yeah, it's fair. Growing
the
up,
MLB is right behind it for me.
Do you like watching baseball as much as football?
See, that's the thing. I actually do like watching baseball, but the red zone is.
Red zone's elite, dude.
Yeah,
nothing touches red zone.
Football's only once a week, so it's a different thing. Like, I do love though. People don't like watching baseball game all the way through. I'm like, yeah, but it's awesome. Like when the games are on, even if you're not going to fully pay attention, like you're around your house doing something, you just have the baseball game on in the background.
Absolutely.
It's like a 4-hour thing to just take up some time. But I watch it, especially during the week. I watch a ton of. I probably watch 1 or 2 Cards games most of the way through every week.
That's one of my favorite things during the summer, or baseball season in general, is at work. We got a big-ass conference room TV.
You just throw it on.
If there's a 3 p.m. game, it's like, yeah, the game's on.
Well, you can just walk by and check it out, and it's like, oh,
it's
2
like
guys on. Okay,
thing,
I'll sit down and watch for like 20 minutes because this is the beginning.
It's just the mind.
You can kind of monitor it.
Yeah.
But, and I love going to games at Busch. Just sit down.
Dude, baseball games are all time.
Sit down, drink a bunch of beer, hang out.
Baseball games are so much fun.
That me, Grimes, Evan, and Kevin did. They have those party suites now, and some of them are like you got to buy the whole suite, but some of them are like you can buy 2 or 4. Like we just bought 4 tickets, but you have like on the right field line on the second deck, and you have your own area. Like you have your own bar inside, so you just have to go. You're covered. Your seats are covered, and you just have to turn around and go like 6 steps to the bar.
Yeah.
To get beer and come back, and it's like. They're like $90 or something, but it's
That's
all inclusive.
I mean, you spend $40 on a ticket, you're spending $50 on beer anyway.
If you go to a Cardinals game the way we go for the most part, you're gonna buy your beer money's gonna add up to $40, $50, $60, $70. There's no
2 beers is $25.
Yeah, there's no way around it. And there's concession food in there, so like hot dogs, nachos, and stuff. Which it's not the amazing concession food, but it's still
food.
Food, and you're probably gonna buy a burger, a dog, or something.
Some
while
nachos
you're there,
with cheese on the side,
free.
something.
So you add that up, you add your concession bill up, it's going to be more than your, like if you, I used to love sitting in the bleachers. You get a bleacher ticket for like $25-$30, but then you go and spend another $70 at the game. You might as well just all inclusive because we got in there. We got in there and just they had. I think they had like some liquor drinks and stuff, but it was mainly just beer behind there. We just tipped the guy like $20 up front when we got in there, and we'd walk in. He would just hand us. Yeah. You just hand us 4 beers. Just turn around and walk out.
That's the way to do it. I am so with that. We went to a Blues game. I don't know, a few months ago for work, and my boss was buying tickets, and he wanted to like comp the whole thing. Shout out my boss. And he was looking at Blues tickets, and they were like $55 a piece for like upper bowl. Or he was like, or I could spend $90, literally like almost $100 on the tickets, and we get free food, free booze. And he was like, this is like, honestly a no brainer. And I was like, yeah, I would have told you that from the get go. If you're taking 10 people to a game, just you're already spending that money.
Kids. Like, again, yeah, you're taking your kids, different game. But if you're going with like 4 of us are going, it's like when we go, Kevin's boss has those. They have those 4 seats that are like, probably the same place where you probably sat. And his boss told me, he's like, yeah, you just tip. He's like, if you don't tip this lady, like whatever, well, he told us each to bring $20.
Yeah, they just like walk around on like the upper.
They just come up and they each come down.
Yeah.
And we tipped her up front, and she would just every time she came down, she would just bring us stuff.
She just have beers in like her pockets. Like, here you go. You need one? You need one? Yeah. It was awesome.
His boss told me, he's like, if you don't tip her, like I will find out.
She knows me. The NBA, who's hot right now? I saw the Cavs are doing pretty well.
Dude, the Cavs are actually sweet this year. And they play like 3 dudes that are over like 6'10".
That's sick.
Their starting lineup, it's tight.
They're missing some dude right now too, aren't they?
Sexton. He's been out like all year. It actually kind of worked out because he went out, and they've got Darius Garland, who's like their young point guard. And Sexton went out, and it basically just gave Garland the keys, and now he's an all-star, and he's been sweet. And then they drafted that Evan Mobley guy, who's like 6'10".
Yeah, big dude,
super athletic, and he's probably going to be an All-NBA defender, which
no shit.
The offense, like a lot of young guys can come in. You
say All NBA, like All Pro in the NFL.
Yeah,
wow.
There's 3 All NBA teams as far as just like those are the best 15 guys.
Yeah.
And then there's All defense, which is the best. There's 2 teams of 5, and he's probably going to be an All NBA defender, which
that's sick.
Rookies offensively, you can come in usually at like 18, 19 and be really good if you're raw as hell. Trey. Defensively, there's usually a learning curve because you're coming in and you've never. The talent level in the NBA is so high, but he's
a dog.
He's like a huge reason why I think they're like 3rd, 4th in the East, and he's.
I was literally texting my dad the other day. They're 3rd in the East, right? Or they were 3rd in the East.
He's kind of like he's kind of like a Kevin Garnett kind of player, sort of. Not as polished offensively, but his defense is unreal.
My Twitter's loaded with bullshit too.
Yeah, they've been good. A bunch of people were giving them flack for those.
I'm here for that too. I'll support the Bulls
signing and stuff like that. They've been really good.
Yeah, dude. That's everything I see is how people were shitting on that when they signed him, and now he's all out. He's lights out.
He's been really good for them. It sucks. They've had a ton of shitty injury luck, and fucking Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen took Caruso.
Yeah.
So Caruso. They brought in Caruso and Lonzo Ball, and basically those two have like upped their defense a ton and have been good for them. Both of them are hurt. Caruso went up for a layup and just. Grayson Allen dirty fouled the shit out of him.
No way. Recently?
Yeah, like maybe a month or 2 ago, and like broke his wrist. Breaking your wrist in basketball is like one of the worst.
Grayson Allen, who's it on?
Grayson Allen foul on Alex Caruso. Because you see, like it's basically a hard foul as he's going up for layup, which is fine. The initial foul is fine, but then he
2 weeks ago
he like ejects him to the ground. Watch this. Throws him down at the end. And if that were somebody else...
He broke Caruso's wrist?
Yeah, it broke his wrist on that play. If that weren't Grayson Allen, you'd be like, okay, that was just kind of a hard foul, looked kind of weird.
Grayson Allen.
The second, if you watch it again, the second...
You gotta give us a slow-mo.
He initially fouls him, and then the second motion is like, dude, you just threw this guy to the ground on purpose because you're just a... Like this, he brings his second hand through. You didn't have to do that.
I'm surprised he didn't break his shoulder.
Yeah.
This is that Duke guy.
Yeah, he's the guy that got caught tripping people. Like
yeah, that's right.
Well, that's why he's got this. And he's had a couple fouls in the NBA before that. They're pretty suspect, but that's the only one that's resulted in somebody getting seriously injured. Although Bulls are really hottest team though, Grizzlies.
Really?
Ja Morant.
Dude, that's one of the things I want to talk about him. I am so here for John Morant.
He's basically
the dude like that thing. That thing he said
2.0.
about Memphis in general the other day, like their mentality. I was like, hell yeah. I'm with.
And that's
this
how
guy.
they've always been too. Like
Really?
Even back when they had they had Mike Conley, Marc Gasol, Zach Randolph. Their grit and grind has always been their. Because Memphis is a pretty blue collar city. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And they're just they're awesome. They're really young, really good, and John Morant is
Dude, he's a beast.
You watch his highlights, dude.
Yeah,
so
I
many
only see
people
the
are
highlights.
I am too. So many people are nervous the way he will go to the basket and jump and try to dunk anytime, all the time. Doesn't care who's there, what's going on.
That's what I want to see.
It's the same way Derrick Rose was, and people are literally just worried that he's gonna. Because dude, some of these falls he takes, he goes up and he gets it, and you're like, dude.
What is he, like 21, 22 too?
And he's right now. If they ended the season right now, he'd probably be first team All NBA, which is pretty insane.
He's second year, right?
It's his second or his third year.
Dude, he's so sick.
I think it's his second year because this is him and Zion, same age.
I was telling one of my coworkers, like, yeah, it'd be fun if we did a work trip, just do like a 1 night trip to Chicago or Memphis or Nashville or this or that or OKC to go see a basketball game.
Dude, the tickets in Chicago right now are
insane.
Nuts.
My buddy
nuts
Charlie's
high.
going tomorrow.
Yeah, it's hard because
You're been to an NBA game?
I've been to a ton.
Really?
My dad loves the NBA.
Oh wait, you
too.
saw LeBron or something, didn't you?
Yeah, we went and
for
saw
your birthday or some shit.
When I was in, I think it was 6th or 7th grade, when LeBron was on the Cavs, the first time my dad took me down there and we went and saw him play the Grizzlies back when the Grizzlies had their old good team, and it was
in Cleveland. You went?
No, Memphis.
Oh, really?
So you can go to basically from where we are.
Memphis is 4 hours.
You can go
Chicago's
Memphis.
4 hours.
Chicago's Chicago's more like 5 because once you get, it would be more like 4, but to get downtown, the last part takes forever.
Yeah.
But Indy's like 3.5.
That's
so you
right.
can go to those
Pacers,
3 places, and then Milwaukee's honestly too not too bad of a drive. We've gone.
OKC's about 5 hours.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit more.
Is it?
Because we went down there. For,
it was 5 hours from Mizzou.
Yeah, I think it's like 7 from here or
Yeah,
something. But there's some high. They've got some toll roads down there you can fly on, which is nice. But my 2 brothers, and my dad my dad tries to take us to it. We've probably been going to at least one game. It's like a Christmas thing. My dad just wants to go to. My dad's a huge Suns fan.
Oh, that's sweet.
And so he's every year he just and he's like, yeah, we'll find tickets and we'll go. We go to one game usually over Christmas
within
break.
that radius.
Yeah, or we've gone to a game. I've been to a game in Orlando. We're on vacation. If they're in somewhere, we'll go. But
that's sweet.
Driving range, we've driven Chicago, Indy, Milwaukee, OKC, and Memphis. I think are the 5 we've driven to, and we'll go. Those are. We'll basically look at the schedule. My dad will be look at the schedule around Christmas time and find. We don't want to go to you're going to go and pay. If you're going to an NBA game on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're going to pay. It's going to be a fairly expensive thing. So my dad's like, I'd rather spend, and luckily we can afford to do it. He's like, find us good. We're going to go see, or at least the other team's got to have somebody. We want to see a good game.
We want to see LeBron. We want to see.
Or hey, even if the Pacers aren't that good, but if the Lakers are in town,
right?
Whoever's
Celtics are in town.
We went down to OKC for when OKC had Westbrook and KD still. We're on the way down there. They're playing the Kings, which the Kings it was when DeMarcus Cousins was on the Kings, so we got to see him. But we're on the way down there. We're listening to ESPN Sirius, my dad's car, and they go, Kevin Durant has discomfort in his foot, is not going to play tonight. My dad just starts cussing his ass off.
No way.
It was still sweet. We still saw Westbrook and Cousins. It was a close game, but we wanted to see KD. That was the whole thing.
That's my beef with. I don't want to say beef, but that's my ick with watching NBA. On Tuesday nights or something. It's I never know who I'm. Literally until an hour or two before the game, you don't know who's playing, and that's why I love the NFL. It's because you're getting everyone's A game. Well,
you're only playing one game a week, so if you
exactly.
can go, you have to go. That's,
right.
The difference in the NBA is hey, you miss 5, 10 games, whatever. If you're one of the best players, if we have you for the other 70, we're going to win a lot of those games, so we don't care.
Right. I've heard NBA games, in terms of electricity, is just, there's nothing like it.
Well, it's they're all entertainment events, but the NBA, every timeout, every stoppage, they have those cheerleader spirit team come shoot. Something goes on in every stoppage, or the Bulls have this blimp that flies around and drops T-shirts. They do.
That's cool.
It's like a production because they know they got to keep you.
Yeah.
Engaged the whole time.
That's sweet. That's so dope.
Yeah. Have you never been to one?
No, I really want to.
Yeah, you should. Memphis would be good. Memphis and Indy are both good, like basketball environment town. Like Indy actually has a whole section of like grown adults that sit up in the upper bowl and they stand and cheer like a high school.
No way.
Like a high school the whole time.
Damn.
We were there one time. They were getting waxed in the fourth quarter.
They're
like,
still just
getting
hooting and
waxed.
hollering.
Dude, they're up there like chant. Like they do like chants. This guy has a drum. It's like a whole.
They have a name
section.
for them.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's some dude. It's because Indiana's a huge basketball state.
Yeah, that's where my mom. Well, they went to school at Butler, but my mom's like originally from Indiana, and she loves basketball. She loves Butler basketball. Loves that shit. Yeah. And if I was like, Mom, let's go to a Pacers game, she'd drop everything then and there to go see one. I've heard they're just so much fun, and I haven't been to an MLS game or an NBA game, and I wanted to go. I had an opportunity to go to KC Sporting senior year when they were playing the Galaxy and Zlatan was going to be playing, but it was a home Mizzou game, and I was like,
you can't miss that.
Yeah, exactly, and I was like,
yeah, I'd say the most like high pro. We went out to LA for my older brother's like senior spring break in high school, and that was it was Kobe and Powell were still both on the Lakers. We went to a game at Staples.
Well, you saw Kobe play?
Yeah,
wow.
And he was still later prime Kobe. Like they were still really good. Dude, we were at the hotel. I think we were staying at like a condominium thing or something out there because we went up. We started in like San Fran and just did a week in like 6 days and made it all the way. Did a bunch of the stops and like hit all the big California cities and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were getting there to leave, and we told the guy when we checked. He's like, "Oh, are you guys here for anything or whatever?" And we were checking in the night before. My dad goes, "Oh yeah, we're going to a Lakers game tomorrow." And the guy goes, "Okay, I'm sure you're not." He's like, "Have you ever been to L.A., California?" We're like, "No," like whatever. And he goes, "When's the game?" My dad was like, "It was like 7:15. You're gonna want to leave here at like." He's like, "You want to get there just to see the game?" And we were like, "Well, if we're gonna go, like we want to see like we all like seeing shoot around and stuff,
right?
Something to see." Might as well. You're spending good money. You might as well go.
At 7. He's like, probably leave at 2 o'clock.
He goes, leave here by like 2:30. Do not leave later than 3 o'clock, or you will not make tip off.
Oh my!
And it was we didn't even have very far to go. We sat on the highway for like 3-4 hours. It was crazy.
Holy shit!
And my dad,
you probably literally went like 10 or 20 miles.
My dad looks at the guy and he's like, the guy's like, I'm dead serious. And
Dude,
he was right.
That's
just how that shit is out there.
There was a guy I worked with at my old job who he had lived in like 10 different cities, and we were talking about LA for whatever reason, and I just asked him like, how do you like it? What was the worst part? And he was like, it sucked. Like obviously you hear that the traffic sucks, but he was like, literally if I went, and like we work downtown, like downtown St. Louis, and he was like, let's say I live downtown and I want to go visit someone in like Town and Country, which is like 15 miles. He was like, I'd have to plan the entire day around that because it's probably going to take us an hour and a half, 2 hours to get there. And I was like, I can't, no shot.
They
dude.
let you ride, like you can ride your motorcycles in between lanes there. Dude, you're rolling traffic like 2, 3, 4 miles an hour, like a lot of the time.
Oh, dude, you could not. No fucking shit.
I can't remember. It was so long ago. I can't remember what the mileage versus the time that it took us. It was stupid. We did not go. We were not that far from Staples, and it took us all day to get there. In fairness, it is like I get why people, and especially if I were a celebrity, I get it because you're not famous there. You're just
you're just a dude.
You're one of a million famous people, and the weather's awesome, and the food there is also incredible.
There's a reason 15 million people live there.
But my God, dude, I hate when I know here I'm like, I should probably throw on an extra 10, 15 because it's probably gonna like 3. Like when I'm coming back from work and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be a little bit later. It's probably gonna take me an extra 20 minutes to get home or whatever. Imagine just lopping on 2, 3, 4. You're like, hey, I better leave now or we're not making it. Whatever that event is, I'm not making it. Or if I was like, hey, dude, like I can text you back, hey man, come shoot down to like Harpo's or whatever. We're doing this, and you're like, yeah, okay, I'll be there in like 2.5 hours.
It's 5 o'clock.
It's like, I'm not coming.
I'm leaving now.
Yeah, like it's just not happening.
And that's literally 20 minutes away from here.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. What all NBA stadiums have you been at? You said Milwaukee, Memphis. So you've been to Staples. That's sweet.
Staples, Milwaukee, Memphis.
Probably Orlando.
OKC, the old Orlando. I haven't been to the new one. Apparently the new one's sweet.
My good buddy Trent from school is from Orlando, and he grew up like going to Dwight Howard games all the time.
That's when I went when Dwight was there. United Center in Chicago, Indianapolis. That might be it for me. I've been to some of the, like, we'll go I've been to the Memphis like 3 or 4 times.
So like how there's there's the talks about like SoFi and like the new Raider Stadium and like Arrowhead and like apparently Seattle Stadium is really sick. Like what are the NBA stadiums that are like people are like you have to go here? I'm assuming Staples.
Well, I guess now it's crypto or whatever. Crypto Center.
Fuck. Probably Boston.
Boston, because Boston's still retro. MSG's number one, though.
Yeah.
I will.
Who's that? The Knicks?
The Knicks, and it's the Mecca. And
have you been there?
No, I will.
That's probably bucket list.
I will at some point. I've never even been to New York.
City? I haven't either. I've been to New York State. City.
They haven't been very good for a long time, but when Carmelo was there, they had this one run where they're really solid. And, dude, you watch when they're good. The energy in there is just it's insane. And because those guys are all those fans up there are so insanely.
Is it in Times Square?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. It's funny. I guess it's not funny. I could have guessed MSG, but that's what like every like entertainer says in general.
Yeah, it's
to have a whatever performance show, etc. at MSG.
Other than that, stadium wise in the NBA, United Center just because that's where Jordan played, I guess. But a ton of them, I wouldn't say a ton of them are like bucket listy, but like the newer ones, like the Bucks have a new. I've been to the old Bucks stadium and the new one. The new NBA stadiums are so damn nice. Like they're awesome.
What's like the average seating? 20,000?
20, 30, something like that.
Yeah, like a hockey rink.
Something similar, probably a little bit bigger.
So I think Enterprise.
Yeah, I don't know. I
think Enterprise is like.
It's
17.
not more than like 40 or 50 tops. I don't think. Like MSG is pretty fucking big, but a lot of them are
18,000.
Yeah, it's more. I think NBA is probably more. Like look up.
Oh my god, I can't spell. Average NBA arena. I guess they are called arenas capacity.
Yeah.
Okay, I just said 18,000. United Center's the biggest, 20,000. Okay.
Yeah, so it is about the same size.
Hey, shout out Cleveland, 20,000. Detroit, Michigan. What's that? 20,000. 20,000. What?
Carrier Dome. That's not even.
Yeah, excuse me?
That article's drunk.
While this list is focused on the NBA, it would be hard to mention the biggest basketball stadiums without dipping into the NCAA. The most college stadiums are much smaller. The Carrier Dome, home to the Syracuse Orange. Well, it's 35,000 fans. Wow, that's a football stadium, though.
Yeah, well, it's both.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they play basketball in the Carrier Dome, too.
Whoa. I didn't know that. That's kind of sweet.
Yeah.
So that's something else that I fuck with the NBA. Is how they're open to doing stuff like this. Because there's that one year they played that game on like that carrier ship or whatever.
That's college, yeah.
Oh, that was college? Damn. But still, that's sick. Because, I mean, yeah, it's a
like
professional sports court, but like it's not that big of a thing.
It's
100 feet long, 80 feet long.
When baseball did that Field of Dreams thing, the NBA was talking about they could play an outdoor game. Like,
that would be really cool.
Like Rucker Park in New York is like a super famous like street ball court. They're like, they do something like that, which would be cool, but problem is, you can't convince. So many of these NBA guys have such inflated egos. You can't convince them to play outside because they're like, well, if I look a little bit worse outside, like I won't. It's like a bunch of those guys won't.
Or if they
won't play in the dunk contest, or like won't because they don't. It was like LeBron would never do the dunk contest because he goes in a dunk contest and then loses. There's no. I mean, it's also like, dude, just come on, just do it. You're probably a good chance you can win, but there's no reward for winning when everybody would expect you to win. The only thing you could do is lose and then be worse.
That's fair. That's fair. I wish shit like that would happen because like the Pro Bowl is going on this weekend. I haven't watched a lick of it, but if they were to bring back like those longest throw competitions, I would for sure watch that.
Dude, or people were talking about the NBA if they wanted to jazz up All-Star Weekend, just do a King of the Hill one-on-one.
Dude, I saw something about that.
But the same thing. Like, you wouldn't get guys like Durant to do it because if Durant gets knocked off by, like Donovan Mitchell or something, so many people are going to clown you online and stuff, and there's no, like, if you do that, Kevin Durant and LeBron are supposed to play in the or like Giannis. If somebody, Giannis would probably fucking win.
The NBA would be pissed if it wasn't those two.
Well, that's although I was saying, even if they could just get, like, mid-level all-stars and below to do it, it would still be sweet to see these guys play one-on-one.
Sweet.
Because I know they do it practice and stuff sometimes. Like, I would love to just sit. I've always wanted to get, I would love to get a job within the NBA, but I always want to just be a fly on the wall, just practice and just see, Like, okay, they're after practice. Okay, these two guys are just gonna sit here and play 21 for like an hour. Like, what is that? Or they're like, what's that look like?
Like seeing LeBron and AD go after it for an
Or
hour.
those, have you ever seen? Me and my dad have always talked about this. We'll probably figure it out at some point. Go to like they sell tickets to the Olympic team practices.
Oh.
In those, they do a ton of drills that are just like one-on-one, like wing post-up drills.
Yeah.
And you're literally watching 15 of the best guys in the world just
Arguably ever.
go at it.
Yeah.
For an hour.
There's a mini documentary on YouTube about the greatest in basketball game that was never televised, and it was a practice game of like
the Dream Team.
Yeah, their Olympic team, and they were like going at it, and it was like a
those
real
guys
game. And it was just like a practice game.
Well, because it was like a Magic versus Jordan teams thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
I mean,
and they were screaming at each other.
Yeah, well, apparently the first time they lose in, I'm gonna take a piss after this.
Yeah, but, whatever. I can cut
Magic,
it all out.
Magic, like they lost and they were like gonna end. He's like, no, like we're not. He's like, we're playing again. Like apparently, it was
like
all the like when you watch that
something
doc,
like that. Yeah,
that's what I'm like. And the Olympic team, they won't even a lot of the practices are closed, but they still take to some of them. I'd love to be like the guy who's like mopping up the floor in there and just sitting there watching them when they're actually
like what was
scrimmaging.
It? Like that 08 Olympic team with LeBron,
Kobe, Wade,
yeah,
and all those guys.
Because that's second to the Dream Team.
It doesn't matter who you are. At some point, if you're to get ramped up and ready to roll, you have to full on scrimmage.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
There's no you have to do that.
Doesn't matter
But
what country
it just
you're playing.
turns out you have 15 of the best players in the world all going at it. And safe to say, almost every single one of those guys is like thinks or is trying to prove that he's the best person in the gym.
Right.
Or like when Jordan was shooting Space Jam, he had them erect this like, it's kind of like the Carrier Dome was like a bubble, not like a real, like a blown up bubble. It's not like a real building technically. He had them erect one of those, and he would have these guys, like all these NBA players, come in so in between shoots they could get runs in. Would have loved to have, like they'd have like Rodman, Reggie Miller, all these guys would come, like basically 10, 15 NBA guys
like
come
mini
in.
all-star teams.
Scrimmage.
Yeah.
Like I think they mentioned that in The Last Dance. I was like, yeah, that would have been, if I was working on that movie, I would have just been sitting there watching.
Dude. I'm having a 4-hour lunch break today. And I've seen like the little snippets of like the NBA or the Olympic team practices. Like there's a specific one of Kyrie going up the court and he like goes through the legs, spins a guy, crosses a guy, then does like a little peanut butter and jelly thing. And it's like, and that's on the best guys out there.
He's here. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. We can talk about Kyrie when we come back because
I got to piss too.
No way.
Yeah. It's big piss.
Ate it though. Nobody said you couldn't throw them up.
Fucking 30 hot dogs.
God damn, dude.
Yes, I let them know, huh?
Oh, that's brutal. That's so brutal.
That's brutal. To 145. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyrie, favorite player to watch.
I'm sure a bunch of people I don't give a shit. The whole vaccination. I don't want to talk about that.
No, we're not.
The only thing I'm pissed about. I wish he was solely because I love watching him play. He's probably I was always a huge LeBron guy. LeBron's like a favorite person to watch, but Kyrie, like aesthetically, the way he plays, his dribbling. He's heard a bunch of people saying like he's probably the most. Allen Iverson, you saw he's like pound for pound most talented guy, but the stuff Kyrie does with the ball with both hands is like you watch his highlight reels. It's
dude, I don't even know
insane.
basketball, and I love watching.
It's
that
insane.
Shit.
They all, like anybody who's a really good dribbler. They always say, okay, like he's got the ball on a string, like he's got like a yo-yo. The stuff he does is absolutely nuts.
Okay, so him, AI, and who else?
Pound for pound. I mean, honestly, I just think it's him. Like his skill level, so he can go in. He goes in. He's 6 foot, 6'1". There's no way he's any. I'm sure maybe they list him like 6'2", but he is small, especially on an NBA court. He is small.
Yeah, on an NBA court.
He can go in
6'2", 193.
Yeah, I doubt he's 6'2".
So a generous 6'2".
I doubt he's 6'2", but he goes in. He's finishing against 7-footers, and he'll go in, jump into some guy, hold it, and as he's falling, either hand just flip it up, crazy spin off the backboard, doesn't matter, in all the time. Like those games him and LeBron had against the Warriors where it was just, hey, you're both going to have to score like 40 for the next 4 games, and they're just like,
okay.
Bet.
Right there, he was selected by the Cavs with the first overall pick in the NBA draft. I didn't know he was number 1, and I did not know he was drafted by the Cavs.
Yeah, he was on. So he was on the Cavs, and they were dog water. And then LeBron came back, and they had the first pick again. When LeBron came back, they took Wiggins and flipped Wiggins for Kevin Love immediately.
Really?
Yeah, but Kyrie played. He played at Duke. I think he only played like 12, 15 games. He had like an injury, but then it was. It was clear that he was
really. He was that good then.
Man, dude, he's so good with the ball.
He's only 29. Damn.
Yeah, and he's such a fuck, but he's so damn good.
That's crazy, dude. That's like going back to the Aaron Rodgers shit. It's like crazy.
It's kind of a similar,
right? Like COVID, whatever, doesn't matter. Like drama in general. If you bring something with you, like the AB shit. Like if you bring something with you, but you're like AB is like one of the better.
You're
receivers.
Undeniably you're that good. It's
yeah,
like, hey, you're gonna.
It's crazy. I'm not saying that people put up with shit, but it's wild.
Well, it's anything. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what field you're in or anything.
Right.
If you're that good or that much better than everyone else, like
it's such a shame.
Shit, we'll hire the guy. Why not? Like,
and what was it? The Nets brought him back for like away games only because he can't play
so the whole,
there or something.
Which I will say, it's a bullshit law in Illinois or not in Illinois, New York. So unvaccinated people that like it's like the event size because he's unvaccinated, he can't be there or whatever. But if you're from a team that's not from New York, so like if I'm on the Cavs and I'm unvaccinated, I can go play a Nets game in their stadium, but he can't. Doesn't make any sense.
That makes no sense. What?
Yeah.
Really? That's
because they're from there. Yeah. Because they're like if you're from outside the state,
most of your time in New York.
It's stupid though. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, he was like, okay, they were at the start of the year. He could have been playing the road games the whole time, but the Nets at the beginning of the year they still have Harden and KD, and they're like, yeah, it's kind of and it is. Because a lot of the thing in the NBA is like you get into a set rotation and everybody knows the rules. Like, okay, I come in at this point in the first quarter and this point in the second quarter and I do this and this is my role. I play 18 minutes. I do whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to have him playing in half the games and half not, that's going to change every single time. And a lot of those, like, it's for anybody, anything. Having a habit that you know you can bank on. It's like when you show up to work, you know generally what your routine is going to be. If that's changing all the time, it's not ideal. So they're like, okay, we have more than enough firepower. Like, you just stay away. They were hoping he'd either just get vaccinated or this law would get lifted or something. Keeps going down the road, goes down the road, and then KD's playing, like, all these minutes. Harden is injured a little bit. KD gets injured, and like, okay, we'll bring him back for the road games.
That's crazy. Has he been playing much?
Yeah, he's playing in all the road games. He's been in so many people, like, I wonder if he's going to be any good or whatever. He came back the first night, like, 24 points. Looked exactly like he did.
He's still probably playing every day.
Yeah, well, they were saying he was, like, getting runs in at, like, high school gym, like, finding people to get runs in, like, high school gyms and stuff. But why? Just a wild.
Dude, that's another thing. I've seen clips, like the street ball, like, obviously, like, random dudes will pull up and, like, street ball a lot. But I always see, like, dudes doing runs at, like, Lifetime and stuff. And
yeah, there's a ton of those.
That would be sick. Just to be at Lifetime someday and a few of these guys pull up. I would never ask to play in the game, but I would totally sit there for a few hours.
I would watch it. I wouldn't want to hop in. That's too much.
Yeah. Unless they want to put me on a YouTube video and I get just.
I don't need to end up on the internet like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's getting body bagged.
Fuck that.
Pass.
No. Have you ever done fantasy basketball?
Yeah.
Do you still do it?
I don't do it this year, or like the last couple of years, but I have off and on. It's a huge. It's every day you gotta check and move. Depending on how you do it, you can do it different ways. But if you're doing it the most involved way, you gotta move your lineup like every single day.
I've got a bunch of my college buddies are in the league, and I was talking to one of them the other day. I think it's an 8-man or a 10-man, but like 6 of the guys have just essentially given up on it.
Yeah, that's what happens too. I've been in so many, and a bunch of the times, like half the guys by the end just aren't even checking their lineup.
That's again. I mean, it's a completely different sport, but like fantasy football, like. Waivers is huge, but like you can set your lineup Sunday morning and most of the time be fine.
You got to check Thursday. You got to check Thursday before the game,
and that's
Sunday,
about it.
You're fine.
And they were saying like, I don't know if it's different across leagues or whatever, but they have to change it every day. You only get X amount of moves a week, and it's like total points like from the bench get somehow accrued into like your total score.
You can do. There's a ton of ways to do the scoring. Like, I was in a league with some guys.
And they're putting up like 1,000 points a week or something like that.
It's weird. Or like, you can do categories, like statistical categories, like, hey, who wins, like, points, rebounds, assists, all these different things like that. Or you can do each statistical category is assigned a point value, or like he makes a free throw, it's a point, he misses it, it's -1, or you can do all these different things. Or like a league I was in on Sleeper, actually you can do, you only have to set your lineup once at the beginning of the week, and you have however many X positions, like your lineups, whatever size you pick.
Right.
But you had to pick your team, you put your team in, and then you had to pick the game of the week for your guy, and you only got points based off the one game. And I was like, that's great and all, but like I shouldn't have to look at the matchup and be like, okay, well, I hope he plays better against the Bulls. Like I was like, why can't we just do like their best score? But there's a million ways to do it because there's so much more. There's so many stats in basketball that you can choose to factor in or not, and there's so many more games.
Yeah,
That's the easy thing with football. It's just one game a week for every guy.
What are there in the NBA? 84?
82.
82 games? That's so many. And like and
you got to pay attention because a bunch of these guys miss at least 5 to 10 games a year.
Exactly.
You got to pay a ton of attention.
And I tried fantasy baseball one year, and that's a whole different beast.
I used to do that too. I liked fantasy baseball, but it's the same thing. It's a lot of.
It's every day.
It's a lot of work.
There's literally baseball multiple games every single day.
That's how you lose. If you don't have a good set group of people that are playing in your league, if you got some guys that are only half committed, or like, oh, we need 2 more people, like, or we need 1 more guy, let's get him in, and then their team sucks, they're out halfway before halfway through the season unless you did a huge buy-in. But even if you do a big buy-in, if the guy's team sucks, it's just like, okay, I just lost $40, whatever. Like I lost $100, okay, but you already lost it in that case. So why keep paying attention to your crappy team?
Right, because it's not like it's just gonna magically make me pay attention, especially if I'm in dead last.
Yeah, and I just said, what are you gonna do? Especially if you don't care that much already, it's like you're not gonna care to go find a bunch of guys to try and refurb your team off the waiver wire or something. You're just gonna quit.
No.
And I get it too, dude. Every day, it's like if your team, it's a lot of time if you want to be good. I mean, think about the time you spend on your fantasy team on Thursday or on Sunday or whatever it is.
Too
but
much.
Then amplify that to every single day.
I can't. I only have so much brain power. I only got so much bandwidth.
Yeah, that's just time too. It's just like, especially time your team sucks. Like, oh, you spent a bunch of time on your fantasy baseball team and you got 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you really doing here?
Yeah.
Who do you think's gonna win the Super Bowl? Who do you think is gonna win?
I think the Rams. I mean, if you don't think the Rams are gonna win,
they're probably favored, I'd imagine, right?
I think it's probably like 3.5.
Really?
I mean, they're at home. Oh, home. Parentheses, home. Fucking losers.
I mean, yeah. But, 4.
Yeah, 4. It'll probably drop to 3.5 because I would bet there are a bunch of people going money line Bengals. That's a good bet. Like, ride that wave, which is what I'm worried about too. Is like you ride the wave, but God, I hope the Bengals win, dude.
I hope the Bengals win. I mean, dude, there's something about the team of destiny. Bengals are never supposed to be here. Dude, I think they had the lowest or second lowest odds of all NFL teams making the Super Bowl this year. Plus 10,000, I think.
Yeah, well, they were projected to win like 6 games or something.
Yeah, I think the Jags were like plus 15,000, and that was that.
We just need what we need is a classic Stafford like 2 or 3 pick game where he just looks like
takes a few sacks,
bewildered the whole time. You're like, oh man, he just doesn't have it. Dude, Katie put out that they're having the Super Bowl thing, Will and Katie, and she was like, Rams fans, dude, I'm thinking about buying a Burrow jersey and just wearing it over there.
You should,
because if the Rams lose, I'm going to be belligerent and obnoxious as hell. Will, I'm telling you
totally
right now,
ignorant.
if you think I was belligerent and ignorant after Fast Eddie's, you are probably going to fight me at your house.
Boy, you're in for
I
one.
am going to laugh in your face.
In the Burrow jersey.
It will not be kind.
What's he got? Does he have a Cup jersey?
Yeah, I think so. And I'll call Joey too. If they lose, it's on.
I'll beat Joey's ass. Dude. I'm pulling for the Bengals. When I was where I'm from in Ohio, like I was like an hour outside of Columbus, like 20 minutes outside of Dayton, and I might have had like a friend or two that were Browns fans, but everyone was Bengals fans. And it's so awesome seeing what they're doing now, and like how amped they are for it. And I'm like, I'm so here for it. And like how Burrow's a Cincy boy.
Dude, his whole storyline is like
it's crazy.
It's like a movie character arc. It's last like even the college stuff. I mean, not necessarily for the Ohio team, but be there the whole time, barely lose out your job, and then transfer out and just become a folk hero down there for those people.
Throw 60 touchdowns in a year, and then get your boy on the team.
Dude, and they did when they did the senior night, and he came out with the Burrow jersey with
that video was so cold.
Stuff.
I remember the hype video for that game. There was the swag surfing, and shout out that videographer, the editor or whatever, they had a sweat drop falling off of a dude's face into a transition. And I was like, yeah, dude, Tigers by 4,000 tonight.
Stupid.
And he's in there. There's never been, I think, a quarterback. I think there was a running back or maybe a receiver that did it. But there's never been I'll double check it, but it's a quarterback that's won the Heisman, won the national championship, and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he's about to do it in 3 years, which... Fuck me, dude.
And he tore his ACL last year.
Blew out his knee. That was, dude, I'm so here for it. And Jamar Chase, dude.
Remember at the beginning of the year when they had the whole thing?
Yeah, he couldn't catch a ball.
The NFL ball or whatever.
It didn't have stripes on it.
You know he was just sitting there at home, like, laughing. He's like, yeah, just let those...
Yeah. Don't guard me. Don't guard me.
He's bored. I was like, somebody like, he's borderline. I mean, if you're talking best receivers in the NFL, his name...
He's all pro this year.
Comes up.
He's a rookie all pro.
Yeah.
His name comes up, and it's crazy because he took off a year, didn't get drafted. Justin Jefferson went, and even
I don't think he could get drafted. I think he
didn't play.
Yeah.
And they were saying that when Jefferson got drafted the year before, that they're like, yeah, Chase
would have gone higher.
Yeah, he's the better receiver. That's what they're saying, right? I'm hoping the Browns get either Olave or Garrett Wilson from Ohio State because those two are two dogs. And apparently this younger kid that's at Ohio State, this sophomore, I don't remember his name. Apparently it's that level of a thing.
Yeah, he's the one that had the crazy...
in the Rose Bowl.
Smith and Jigba?
Yeah, in the Rose Bowl.
He went all...
like 240 yards, some shit like that.
And well, he had to be because the Jameson, whatever, the Alabama guy that tore his ACL in that last game, he had to transfer out of there because he couldn't get clock, and then he goes down to Alabama. He's immediately one of the best receivers in the country.
So crazy. That's what they were saying about Devontae and Miami boy. Bama receivers. Devontae Smith and... Waddle. Devontae got the Heisman, but Waddle didn't play in the championship.
Yeah.
And everyone was saying, it doesn't matter. Waddle's the better receiver. And I'm not in the NFL.
He was sick this year, too.
Yeah, they're both sick this year. And that's so crazy how that shit happens.
He was on my...
Sorry, Jim, can't answer that.
He was on my... Dude, this is why I know a bunch of people, especially in the high school league, don't want to do it. This is why I wish we would do auction. Because, there were several guys, like Waddle was one of the guys, he wasn't where I picked. I was either just going to have to way reach for him or just pray that he fell. I wish we would do auctions. In auction, you can just be like, hey, I want this guy, and this guy, and I will bid...
I'll bid all of you.
Whatever I have to get them. Like, I want... At least you can get a few of the guys you want. I mean, otherwise you just have to hope your draft lands in the right spot, or you got to reach. Like, this year I fucking took Kyle Pitts. What a fucking bummer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, I had the number 1 overall pick, and, sure, I drafted shitty. But, I had the turn.
Sure, I drafted shitty.
But, I had the turn pick, so every time I was just reaching for dudes or hoping they were falling.
You don't have a choice. If you're on the ends, you have to...
And you get to round 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're reaching for it. It doesn't matter who you're picking. They're all a Hail Mary. Stupid. And I don't know. So auction. So you think when you say auction, just for numbers' sake, each team is $1,000.
Yeah, I think it's like 50. I don't know what you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, and then out of $1,000, Mahomes is $100.
Yeah, it's whatever. I don't know how. I think it's.
Well, there's probably a starting.
I don't remember how they scale it, but there's it's scaled the same way. But yeah, it's the top bid is 25 or 50, and you're allotted however much money, and then you can. And you could right away, if some guy came up in the first round, you're like, I'm getting this guy. You could just max bid him right away and take him.
So how does that work? So there's would you just go in ADP order?
Yeah, it's something, or I think you do it positionally, or so. I think there's a couple ways you can decide to do it. I've never actually done one because I've never been able to convince anybody that I've played with to do it. Because every time I bring it up for the high school league,
I'd be kind of in, dude.
I don't want to do auction. It's so much work. I'm like, it's the same fucking thing. The draft's not going to take that.
Because that's what DraftKings is. You got $50,000, I think.
Yeah, it's the same exact kind of
to build a team for the week, and like Mahomes, like $20,000. It's like, well, yeah, if you take Mahomes, you're getting points, but then you got to.
When there's more, I mean, none of it's skill, but at least you have more control over who ends up on your roster. When you do a snake draft, there's only so much you can do to affect who's on your team because you're like, well, I definitely can't take this guy in the third round. That would be insane. But then if you don't draft till the back end of the fourth, whatever, he's probably going to be gone.
I know the statistics out there. I want to find the statistic on, like, because, like, there's, like, the shit that comes out. It's, like, these are the players that are on, like, all the championship teams. I'm curious to know, like, if there is or if it's just, like what the median, like, draft position is that, like,
wins the most.
Yeah. Like, if it's, like, in the middle, like, a 12-team league, if pick number 6, like, odds are they have the best team.
That's the other thing too, dude. We're rocking in a 12-team league. It's so many picks in between you and your next pick.
I was in 3 leagues, and it was sick because we have the 12-man, and then I have a 10-man, and then I have an 8-man. So all my teams were wildly different, and each team
Those 8-man teams are so stacked.
Dude, it was so much fun.
It's honestly hard because you got to pick.
You're picking between, like, top 2 dudes. And, like for us in our 8-man, we were, like, any given week, we were picking between, like, Saquon, Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, and, like, another, like, stud running back, Nick Chubb. Like,
you're dropping a couple.
Yeah, every week. And then it's like, well, we're probably going to just, like, shit 20, 25 points on the bench any given week for any of those guys. Same with the receivers. The receivers are so deep.
Well, especially full PPR, the receiver pool is nuts.
Yeah, like, any given week, Devontae Smith would be on the waiver wires. Like, imagine that in a 12-man. It's crazy. So similar to any real-life auction, you may have witnessed the highest bidder's awarded player and the amount of the bid for that player is deducted. All owners continue to nominate and bid on players until rosters are filled in line with the league format. All remaining undrafted players are made available on waivers and given a standard value, often a minimum of 1.
He's reading.
Yes, I am reading. As the bidding process takes a bit more time, the overall draft time will undoubtedly be longer, blah, blah, blah. With an auction draft, you're constantly involved in excitement, making bids, driving the price, sneaking in a few cheap studs. So, yeah, we'd probably just do ADP.
Yeah. Or, like, previous year's ranking
or
something.
Right. Dude, I'm kind of in.
Well, dude,
I'm so in.
There are a bunch of people that are against him. Like, dude, you're a cocksucker. You would love to bid. You would know. I mean, I think Cam Newton comes up and 4 people would just bid Joey out of his mind.
Right. And, like, yeah.
But then Joey would just sit him with him, like, yeah, okay, you bid $40 for Cam Newton, take him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
Because that's the thing you could do. It's like, hey, I might be bidding against you just because I know you're going to go up, but then you can just pull the chair out, and then I'm stuck with that guy for like more than
perfect example. Our league and Cooper Kupp. Like, if we were
next year, the bidding on him would be
insane.
There'd be infighting between the little Rams losers.
And I'd be so here for it. I'd be driving the shit out of that price.
In worst case, you just end up with him.
Yeah, then you got Kupp. Oh, no.
Dude, that story about the league his dad was in where they would just let him have him every year because he's his kid, and they're like, yeah.
Eat shit, dude. No
dude, I bet he won that league in a landslide this year.
Oh, yeah. So, Dad, do you think he's going to be – because, like, obviously this year's – like, unless – he is just like one of the greatest receivers we've ever seen, which I mean, maybe he is. Like, this year's an anomaly. Do you think he's worth a first-round pick next year?
I would. If I was back into the first round, I would definitely think about it. I mean, especially if everything goes to plan and they're all back normally. I mean, it'll go down a little bit if Robert Woods is healthy, I'm sure, because Robert Woods is pretty tough too. Yeah.
I mean, this year it was.
If you look at his, and I know he went to like Eastern Washington or whatever it was, still Pac-12. His college stats are nuts.
Insane. I was watching his highlight video the other day, and he was regarded as like the best FBS player ever.
Nuts.
FCS, sorry.
So many touchdowns.
Dude, it's actually, let's just look it up. Cooper Kupp college. Oh, my God. College
First
stats.
time typing?
Yeah. I haven't done this often.
4 beers. Guy's leaning.
The move, bitch. Yeah, dude. So, 2013, 14, 15, 16.
Dude, they're so consistent, too.
4 years, he had 428 receptions. His freshman year, he had 93. with 1,600 yards in 15 games. 21 fucking touchdowns.
Honestly, look at the touchdowns.
21, 16, 19, 17. Dude. So what was he? He was averaging almost 1,600 yards a year.
Yeah.
Fuck me, dude. 100
I mean, I get
a
that's
year.
not like the biggest program of all time.
Still.
And stuff, but you throw those stats out in front of him, you go, hey, so when do you think this guy was drafted?
Yeah, and what was he
First
like?
round? He was like a third-round pick or something? I don't know.
No, I think he was
Probably
like, well, here. Third round, 69th overall. Hell yeah. 7th overall receiver. I wonder who went in front of him. Have they re-signed him yet? Probably.
I don't know, but he's going to get a bag.
He's going to get a bag.
He'll be just fine.
After wearing, 3-year, $48 million, including $35 million guaranteed. How old is he? 26, 28, yeah.
He's probably pissed he signed that long of a deal.
He probably is. 6'2", 208. Shout out to White Boy. Who do you think's falling? Who do you think is rising?
As far as fantasy?
Mm-hmm. Do you think Jamar Chase is like a top 3 pick?
Oh, he's going to be one of the first receivers off the board.
You think so?
Has to be. Dude, they throw the ball so much.
They throw the ball so much.
Aaron Jones, Dalvin, dive. I had both of them this year. It's sweet.
Nope. I think Dalvin's taking it.
Yeah.
I think he's taking it.
When he's getting,
Same with Kamara.
I kept him for like 2 or 3 years. I probably won't keep him.
That's why I didn't keep. I mean, I love Saquon. I think I made it to the finals, or I think I made it to the semifinals when I had Saquon his rookie year. And I was like, if I win, I'm buying his jersey just straight up. It's going straight to him because he's like same with him.
Sweet when he's out there.
He fell to the second round this year, and he's healthy. He's probably the best back in the league.
Yeah, he's staying healthy.
And it's the Giants. Fuck the Giants.
They're in trouble.
Yeah, something like that. There's a few NFL teams. Like, I like seeing the Bengals do well. I like seeing the Packers do well. I like seeing the Cardinals do well. But there are some teams that I will be totally okay with if I never see them do well. And it's the Jets and the Giants. If I don't see the Rams ever do well, I'm okay with that.
Don't have to worry about the Jets.
No.
Dude, I'm telling you, I hope the Rams become the Bills of the 90s where they make like
3 or 4
Super Bowls. I hope they make like 8 Super Bowls in the next like 10 years. I love it. Just let them get all the way there, and Joey and Will and Evan and Al and all these guys.
On top of the world.
Oh, is this so? Oh, this, and then just cut their throats.
Right? Yeah, didn't the Bills go to like 3 or 4 in a row?
They went to 4, I think 4 in a row, or like 4 in 5 years, something, and lost every single one of them. Dude, and one of them they got smoked in. One of them they lost. The kicker missed like a 35-yard field goal.
Oh,
yeah, to win. Like it was like they're down, but whatever it was.
Well, we were talking about that the other day. It's either this year or bust, isn't it? Because they can't afford everyone.
For the well, that's the thing that they can't afford everybody, but you can. These NFL teams can always figure out a way to push it out. And if Kroenke wants to, he can spend them. He's got the money.
But there's salary cap.
Yeah, but they just push that shit. They just push that shit. But it's like the Saints.
They got to counter.
The Saints did that for like 4 years, and then I think Sean Payton was like, "We might actually not be able to." He's like, "I'm out."
Bro, they're like $70 million under.
Mark my words, Sean Payton. Unless the Cowboys like 360 and actually win next year with Mike McCarthy, Sean Payton will take a year off next year. They'll fire Mike McCarthy and he'll be the Cowboys coach.
You think so?
I would bet money on it.
Why?
He's not retiring.
No.
He's not even 60.
Really?
Yeah, look, he's not that old.
He doesn't look old.
He's like an all-time coach.
He is an all-time coach. 58, there you go.
Yeah, he's not retiring.
He doesn't look 58.
There's no way that he's done. And Mike McCarthy has a short. I thought they might fire him this year. And they said he's coming back. Sean Payton. I was like, there's got to be some sort of a.
Dude, give Sean Payton, Dak, Zeke, CD, and Amari. Or
Zeke will probably be out of there.
Gallup, Pollard. Pollard's a dog too.
And probably honestly Cooper will probably be out. It'll be Gallup and
CD.
Gallup and CD. Which is wild, dude. They had that game, that playoff game, and CD got like 1 catch or whatever.
Something like that.
And so many people are like, I don't care how you got to do it. You got to get the ball in his hands 5, 6, 7, 8 times.
I don't care if you throw an interception. Give him 10 targets.
4 screen passes. Like if you can't,
he's gonna catch 70 of them for 70 yards.
You throw that guy 4 screen passes. There's like a 10-15% chance that one of them he just busts like a 50-yard touchdown on or something.
Yeah, dude.
You didn't tell me he's gonna get his hands on the ball one time the whole game. He's your best guy. He's the best guy you have in open space or after the catch or whatever, however you want to. It's like with Debo.
I was just about to say, look,
like hey, you know what we should do is just find any way possible to get this guy 10 touches because he's the best player we have.
Animal out here.
Yeah. It's just like Same thing in it's like applying in basketball. You have a guy that's your best player. You just give him the ball, and you're like, okay, what do you want? You like a high ball screen? You like this? You like that? Where do you like the ball? Here it is.
Here's what we're doing. Try to stop it.
You're our best player.
Mm-hmm.
If we lose, at least you were the one that we were getting the ball to. You don't just give the ball one time.
I couldn't believe that. I mean, it's another team. Fuck the Cowboys so hard. I love Dak. I love Zeke. St. Louis dude. I love CD. But fuck the Cowboys so hard.
One of my older cousins. I don't know when he might have been a Cowboys fan before the Rams left. But then my older brother, it's like I have two cousins that are like my mom's sister's kids. That we were like, they're basically like extended brothers of mine. Like we did a ton of stuff together when we were kids. And so my older brother, after the Rams left, tagged along the Cowboys with him. And, dude, I love watching the Cowboys lose. They get so pissed. They do. It's awesome.
The memes about Cowboy fans are so funny, too.
Dude, it's like they're just so depressed. I was like, you guys did this. You guys didn't have to be Cowboys fans.
And it's wild how, like, they're always supposed to be good. And they have, like, 3 playoff wins the past 20 years, something like that.
Yeah, those stats they do with Brady versus the Cowboys, like, it's just rubbing it in on those guys so bad.
Jerry Jones, the old white, him and his yacht.
Dude, Jerry's something else.
He's something else. I don't need to get into that. He's something else. I guess I can't speak for him, but I don't know. I fucking love this.
Yeah, the South Park. You ever seen what Jerry the interpretation they have of him in South Park? The way he looks.
No.
Look up with just the way he looks in South Park. It's so fun. It's such a good satirical look on him.
That's hilarious.
It's so good. Look at his eye. Look at him. He's got crazy bug eyes.
Oh, dude, that's gold. That's another show. I haven't watched that show. I've seen him here and there, but I did not keep up with that one. That's there's 25 seasons.
Yeah. Dude, they're so good with the the timely, the weekly, whatever the weekly shit is that's going down there.
Have you seen the background on that? Like how they have a week to come up with an episode?
Well, and the reason the animation is the way it is because they send it over. It's not done. They couldn't animate it better because they don't have the time. They don't finish the episode until
It honestly makes it that much better.
Yeah.
The paper looking thing, it's gold.
The old ones, the newer ones are a lot better. The old ones,
they're bad.
Yeah.
They're bad. That's one of the memories sticks out to me from being a kid. Was for whatever reason we had that South Park movie on VCR. And I watched it, not knowing what it was. My parents got so mad at me, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I was 8, 7, watching that thing. I definitely should have been watching that.
It's I used to watch. I've probably seen Happy Gilmore, like Billy Madison. Mm-hmm. So when our parents first found out we were watching, they're like, "Okay, no, you're not."
Yeah,
these movies are hilarious.
So yeah, my buddy Eric showed me the first time I saw Dodgeball. My parents were like, "You should not be watching this." I was like, "This is the funniest thing I've ever seen." What do you mean?
Good.
What do you mean I shouldn't be watching this? I've got a ton of movies. I still have all those DVDs actually.
Yeah, dude, we used so many road trips. We had DVD player in the van.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Gilmore every single time. So good.
Me and my little sister have probably seen Hot Rod 100 times. I could probably quote that. Same with Step Brothers.
I said you look shitty, Denise.
It's fucking hitting the engine with a hammer. That movie's so gold.
You want to join my crew, huh?
Welcome to the team. I got nothing else for you. What else you want to talk about? We can keep going. We can stop. We're at 2:15.
2:15. Shit, I had a couple things. I think we could actually cover most of it. Let's see.
I mean, shit, we just talked about sports for probably an hour. Probably an hour and a half, honestly.
Yeah, that's easy. Oh, the only thing I was listening, because I was listening to the one, you and Davis, they totally do ship seafood in daily to some of those places.
Peacemaker?
Yeah, because I was up in Omaha, and there's this one place that I went to a bunch of times, and that's why it's so expensive, because you're paying the freight on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, have you been to Peacemaker?
Mm-hmm.
There's not prices on the menu.
No, because it
all market
fluctuates,
price,
and a lot of it's whatever they had to pay, whatever the seafood price was in the market, and then also they had to fly it up there on ice.
And outside of high-end seafood restaurants I've been to, down on the coast or something, that's the best seafood I've ever had.
Yeah, well, because it's actually it's not frozen.
It was super dank. It was so dank.
You can get there are good seafood restaurants where it's frozen, but it's noticeably different when it's not.
Mm-hmm. The only time we were talking about crab legs, the only time that I've ordered crab legs, we were in Colombia, and there's like 10 or 15 of us in our pledge class that just up and decided one day to go to
Jameis Winston.
Red Lobster, dude.
No way.
Yeah. We all went. We all got crab legs. And we had one of the huge long tables with like probably 12 of us there. We all got crab legs. We probably spent 2 hours there, and I was like, this is such a waste.
Dude, 12 people get crab legs at Red Lobster. I feel like one of you got food poisoning.
Probably. But we're also living in the annex, so it was nothing.
Who cares? This is all.
We have asbestos.
My boss is a bigger gentleman, you could say, and knows
his way around a plate.
Yeah, man could eat. But he took us when I was up in Omaha with the other kid that was up there. He would take us out to eat sometimes. And he goes, we were thinking we'd go to Red Lobster. And I was like, and I'm like texting the other kid on the side. He's like, dude, I don't know. Like, we're not. I was like, we're not gonna. He's our boss. We're like, been with the company for like 2 years. I'm not gonna. What are you gonna do? Mm-hmm. But he wanted to go because they had all you could eat shrimp. It's like Monday or Tuesday. They have all you can eat shrimp. And it's like popcorn shrimp, grilled shrimp skewers, coconut shrimp, and I think there's one. It's like shrimp scampi, and it's like, in fairness, I mean it's Red Lobster shrimp, so it's not awesome.
Right.
I probably ate like 40. I mean, they're tiny, but it's like $18. It's actually not a bad deal. He was like, oh, you've been to Red Lobster? I was like, oh yeah, for sure. I hadn't eaten a Red Lobster in my life. It's like, dude, I don't want to eat processed seafood. That sounds nasty.
I think I've been to Red Lobster maybe 5 times in my life.
$18 for all. You literally sit there, and the waitress would come by, and she would be putting one down. She goes, you want me to put an order in for another one? I was like,
yeah.
Lady, I'm going to throw up on this table. I will say the biscuits are fire.
Those cheddar biscuits. Yeah, those are fire.
But 40 shrimp, my boss, he talks about it. I was like, oh, if you go back sometime. I'm like, God, I'm like, dude,
I can't.
I do not. I know. I was like, you're paying for it, but can we just go somewhere else? I don't want to go to Red Lobster, dude. Come on.
On Two Bears, One Cave, Bert was talking about, I guess Hooters has good buffalo shrimp. And he was talking about that. He was like, he was saying that one time he went and he got like 4 or 5 baskets, and each basket had like 20 shrimp in it. And he was like, yeah, I could have kept going. And he was like, yeah, they're small, but I could have eaten 100 of those things.
Dude, they're they used to be buffalo shrimp at Circle 7, and then they switched it to Fiery Honey. The Fiery Honey shrimp at Circle 7 is...
I haven't had that. I need to get it because it's fried, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got lightly. It's fire.
It's battered.
Yeah.
Dude, that Fiery Honey sauce is something else.
It's so funny. Kevin and that Fiery Honey sauce used to not be, it used to be a lot of the stuff on the menu was either buffalo or barbecue. Mm-hmm. And they had the Fiery Honey, but it was, like, when they first came, it was like a couple years ago when they came out, me and Kev were in there post, I think we'd played golf or something, but we were pretty ripped. And we're, like, sitting in there. It's just the two of us, and the girl goes, she was, like, our waitress was, like, kind of, like, she's, like, had to, like, pretty socially awkward. Like, the way she was... I was like, this isn't us, right? After she walked away, Kelly goes, that was odd, right? I was like, yeah, dude, that was weird. But she suggested it. Like, it was like Fiery Honey is like, it was like right after, they hadn't had it for very long. She goes, it's like the staff favorite. Like, she was like, do the shrimp, but do it with Fiery Honey. We did it. We were both like, dude, this is like the best shit we've ever had.
Probably got another plate or two.
Oh, yeah, we were bashing.
Yeah, whenever I go there, I get their buffalo wrap, but I asked for it tossed in Fiery Honey instead of buffalo. I think it was 2 years ago for Christmas. I went in there to buy someone a bottle of the sauce. Now they have it to go, and it was. I was expecting to be like a $15 bottle. It was like $6. I was like,
yeah, it's not bad.
I was like, okay, give me 10. And I just bought a lot of them, and I was just giving them to everybody. And I was like, it was because everyone that's been there knows the sauce.
Yeah,
and when I gave them the bottle, they're like, no fucking way. And I was like, yeah, that's heat right there.
Dude, that's an easy gift to be pumped. And like, $6.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I
Idiot.
Ripped the sticker off.
Yeah, that's like my mom gave me 2 up. I took them up to Omaha. Mm-hmm. Just mashing that stuff up.
Everything. Turkey sandwiches, chicken nuggets, hamburgers.
You like ranch?
Oh yeah, everything. Pizza, everything. I could drink that shit.
So good.
Yeah. Shit. You want to call it?
Shit. You got anything else?
Nah, we're at 2:20.
That's probably about it.
All right. Cheers.
Yep. Appreciate you.
It was good. Fun little time.
Dang. Evan's a bitch.
What do you say?
Nothing. He said.